You're listening to RivalCastMedia.com. All right. Giggity, 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 giggity. Warning, the following podcast is rated awesome and therefore may not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
New from Bippy Industries, the F-Uton. Perfect for those relatives too cheap to spring for a hotel room, the F-Uton features an intentionally lumpy mattress that pokes guests in all the wrong places. Worried about your hormone-ravaged teen doing unmentionable things in your home? Our patented design features absolutely no lubrication on any of the F-Uton's hinges or connectors, giving off a telltale squeal every time someone moves. Junior will learn so much self-restraint that after he fails out of high school, he could move on to a respectable position as an impoverished monk. Cheaply made to fit anyone's budget, pick up your F-Uton today.
Bippy Industries and its affiliates remind customers that all products are sold as is, and that Bippy Industries cannot be held responsible for any injuries, deaths, or alien abductions resulting from the use of their products. Consumer discretion is advised, though not encouraged. By purchase of Bippy products, consumer agrees to these terms and releases. Bippy Industries for any legal or monetary claims. Use as directed.
You're listening to the Ghost in the Podcast on Rivalcast Media. It's showtime.
I see dead people.
And coming to you live from Cleveland, Ohio, right here in Barron's Castle, it's the Ghost of the Podcast on RivalCast Media! Yeah! That is right, everybody. It is Saturday night, not our usual time for a Ghost in the Podcast event, but with the wonderful holiday tomorrow known as Easter going ahead and taking place, and us going ahead and having some family obligations that we have to go ahead and take care of. We decided to go ahead and air this tonight, and I apologize for not giving more warning that we were going to be doing that. Sadly, I forgot all about the fact that Easter was going to be on Sunday and that we were going to be having a family gathering that we're going to have to be attending before I went ahead and, after we did the show, last week, forgot all about it. So, unfortunately, we're going to be airing tonight, so I understand we're probably going to have a smaller audience than usual for the live show because, again, we did not advertise this as well. And, again, I'll take the blame on that one because I'm well aware that, it is kind of my huge, major screw-up there. So, with that being said, though, I am your host, Baron Von Gosu. My dancing lady over here is the Baroness, who is wearing her apron after working in the kitchen, making me sandwiches and all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, really?
Ooh, the video's frozen. What the hell?
Really? You
Hold
know
on.
why?
Hold on, video's frozen.
Yeah. You know why?
All right, let's see if that fixes it. There we go.
You know why it was
Woo!
frozen? Because it'll be a cold day in hell before I sit around in the kitchen making you sandwiches anymore, mister.
You did, and it was a delicious sandwich. I'm very happy and very thankful that you made me that sandwich.
I made me that sandwich, and you took it like the patriarchal bastard that you are. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
How dare I? How dare I? You made that sandwich for me. You even said, Baron, honey, the sandwich is ready. Come and get it. Now, granted, you might have said, Baron, my sandwich is ready. Don't come and touch it. But I'm pretty sure that you said, come and get it. And I did. And it was delicious. It was glorious.
I said, don't.
And I have a crown. So
Don't
therefore, I'm the king.
come and get
Hail
it.
to the king, baby.
Don't. Come
Hail
and
to
get
the king, baby. Thank you very much.
That's also my crown, but that's okay.
Yeah,
You
but
want
apparently
this?
I'm taking over everything tonight. So you can go get me my tiger hat over there, and I'd wear that, and you can wear your crown.
You could go over and get your own tiger hat because, I had this wonderful conversation last night after On Tap with Misty, and she has really opened my eyes as to how much I really do around here
You mean the
that
Shamali?
I've never, ever given credit for. So you know
You're
what?
giving credit
Get
all
your
the
own
time.
hat.
I just gave you credit for making me a sandwich. What
No,
the hell more do you want,
You
woman?
stole my sandwich.
I did not steal the sandwich. The sandwich was made and prepared for me, and you had one that you
No.
were working on at the same
No.
exact time.
No. See,
Yes.
this is how oppression works. You're
This is not how oppression works. This is how bullshit works, and that's exactly what you're flinging here, lady. There's a bunch of bullshit. Watch out, folks. You might get a stain from listening to this craptastic story
Well, yeah.
here.
And you know what? You know what would happen if that,
I'm gonna have
if
to
that
burn my
happened?
bra.
Baron would be like, "Oh, just hand it to the Baroness. She'll take it downstairs and shout wipe it, and then wash it for you and clean it, and maybe iron it too." Because
I
you know,
have
that's
never,
what she does.
ever done that. Not once have I ever said that. Take it downstairs, maybe. white it out only because you, or shout it out only because you know where that stuff is. And you give terrible directions, so I can't find it. But ironing it,
oh my
no,
God,
no.
on top of the washing
You
machine.
make it sound like
How
I come
many
down in the
things are on
morning
top
with my
of the
boxer
washing
shorts and say,
machine?
"Here,
Just the
woman,
shower."
go ahead and iron these out because I like
You know what?
my giblets to be
You know
toasty
what?
when I go outside to face the day." That is like the kind of crap that you give me crap about, and it is crap because I've never once done that. I never once cared whether or not my giblets were toasty when I go outside,
Yes, you
based on a pair of underwear that you had to iron, and you've never ironed my underwear. You've never offered to iron my underwear, and in fact, you usually say, "I don't want to touch your skeevy underwear. My God, get it away. It smells." So you know what? I don't want to hear any crap about me forcing you and oppressing you to go ahead and do that. You know what? The fact that you're even able to sit down right now shows that you got freedom, lady. That has nothing to do with me being oppressive and my patriarchal friends, okay? And I don't care what Misty the bitch goes ahead and says will fly for whole HR thing, because you know what? She has no say in what goes on in this show, whether she's dressed in drag or not. I don't care. You know what? Bioman Alchemist is my friend. I will not stand for Misty bad-mouthing and besmirching his name right here on the Rivalcast Community Airways. Bioman Alchemist, the guy who goes ahead and does so much for us here at Rivalcast, does not deserve to be dragged through the mud by some pink-haired floozy. Okay, so you know what? I have problems with Misty. Okay, she could go ahead and say that the patriarchy is dead and that she's gonna go ahead and burn her bra and whip it out right there live on camera. I don't care.
The patriarchy is not dead. That's what she's saying.
Patriarchy is not dead. You're right. It is not. Hail patriarchy. That is my whole point. My God. Hello, everybody.
Oh my God.
We did not forget that you're here. I have my wonderful tablet out this evening, so hopefully I'll actually be able to read what you're saying.
Beautiful. So I've been in IRC for all of 32 seconds already. Vampy says now he's threatening to beat her till she can't sit down. Well, that'll be
What?
I would like to see
There was
her
no
try.
threat of violence here. I did not threaten to beat anybody. Although I might start if this keeps going. Misty has now joined us in chat.
Hold on.
Oh, it is a woman's
Hold
fault.
on.
Yes, Misty, it is a woman's fault.
E-Man Cave says, does the sandwich taste good because all the hopes and dreams of all the hopes and dreams the Baroness put into it?
And that makes it taste that much sweeter. With a little bit of bitterness.
And Misty, you know, we have had this out.
Misty's saying Bioman Alchemist is the problem? You're the problem, lady! Nobody asked you here! What the hell was Varyar thinking bringing this wench on?
You know, he was trying to be a little bit more, you know, I don't know. I really don't. There was a lot of alcohol involved when we made that hiring decision. I'm just saying.
Oh, I just realized I never updated the show topics this evening.
Well, that happens.
Oopsies. Where were you on that one, Misty? You're supposed to be taking care of this stuff. So, folks, forget those show topics. I'll update it later. Maybe.
Show topics.
If I
Who
feel like it.
knows? You should just put up who knows.
We have a whole bunch. Yeah, okay, we'll
true.
do that. Who the hell
It's
knows?
Saturday night. We're having fun.
Who the hell knows?
That works. Why is this warm?
I have no idea. I pulled it out of the fridge outside.
It's not as
Someone's
cold
getting me.
and delightful as it usually is. I'm just saying. How long does it take you to write a sentence?
Apparently, when my keyboard is malfunctioning, it takes a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you trying to type a capital R?
No, I was not trying to type a capital R. I have to get this all actually on screen here.
Who's in chat that can send Baron a capital R just
There
in
we go.
case?
I don't have chat up on this one. I have it on my little laptop or my little iPad here.
Yeah, I have that.
My
problem a lot,
iPad
too.
Mini. I'm
Have that.
threatening to beat her till she can't sit down. Screw you, people. People that are going to find this show are going to think I'm like this violent, drunken Irishman, and only 2 of those are true. Speaking of which, we have a drinking game we play here on Ghost in the Podcast.
Assuming we ever get on topic.
Yes, for those of you that ever watch the show and ever figure out what topics we are, hey, that's whatever topic we want tonight, I guess.
I know,
And
right?
Technically, we can't get off topic then, so. But anyway, here's how the drinking game works, and I'm going to say this mostly for those of you who download the audio version and aren't watching the video version, where everything's already spelled out for you and spelled correctly. I'm kind of proud of myself for that. But anyway. Yay, public education.
Woohoo!
Basically, the way the drinking game works here on the show is Baroness and I will talk about a series of different topics involving the world of horror, supernatural, paranormal, and everything in between, both in life and popular media. That's kind of our shtick here on the show. And anytime that you guys get us off topic in chat, either in our IRC chat room at irc.quakenet.org, channel Rivalcast, or you can just go to rivalcastmedia.com, click on the web chat link, which will also bring you into our IRC chat room, or right here on Twitch, if you're joining us for the live show, you can join us in chat there. So if you get us off topic for 7 seconds, you guys get a point that can later be redeemed for prizes such as t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of fun stuff. And of course, Baroness and I have to drink with the idea that we're going to get blotto by the end of the show. And the more blotto we get, the more spousal arguing you get. The possibility of spousal abuse will come out maybe, but she's more likely to beat me than the other way around. And you know that's true.
They know it's true,
Miss
too.
Matriarchy. But anyway, exactly. They know it's true, which is why I don't know why I'm the one getting the shit. Misty, what is it about spousal abuse? How come you're not getting on Baroness's case for beating people? Because you know what? That stuff should fall in your wheelhouse, lady. Think of the children.
We don't have children.
They're small and fuzzy and running around the kitchen right now. We do have children.
We have cats. We have 2 cats.
So what? Are you saying they're species challenged? Now who's the one who's closed-minded?
You told me
Look
I
at
wasn't
that.
allowed to dress them in clothes. I'm
They
just saying,
hate being dressed in clothes.
Well, you
they
know
try
what?
to bite you.
You know what? Children need to not be naked. I'm just saying.
They're not naked. They got fur coats on. They're probably the warmest sons of bitches in here. Strutting around like they own the place, and they do own the place. They're cats. Yeah, exactly. Nod your head in agreement because you know I'm telling the truth. But anyway. So that's how the show works here. We have several different show topics we're going to talk about this evening. Most of them are going to be very short because, sadly, this is just one of those weird weeks where there's not really a whole lot happening in the world of horror, which is Easter week, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me. Last year, because we had so few topics to talk about, we actually did a radio play called Aurora, which we broadcasted live before we got to Twitch. So you can find that if you go into the Rivalcast Media website and look at the Ghost in the Podcast archives. You can also find the download versions of the show on iTunes and Stitcher as well, and also on YouTube. So there you go. All right. So what are the topics we have on this evening? Well, supposedly there's a rumor of a Play-Doh movie that's not necessarily in the wheelhouse of horror, but it is damn strange. Yes, Play-Doh the movie. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
Oh God, are they like? I'm having flashbacks to Battleship.
No, we'll get there.
Spoilers?
We'll get there. Spoilers. Spoilers, woman. Spoilers.
I see. I know nothing about this, so I don't know how I can exactly spoil it except by being intelligent. So.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So stop it. It's Play-Doh the movie, okay? Intelligence does not apply. And wait till you hear who's going to be on tap to direct this sucker.
Michael Bay?
No,
Really?
but that's going to lead into a later conversation.
Okay.
All right. Also, speaking of Michael Bay, Sayomara, who is the co-host of Far Afield, sent an email in relation to last week's topic of Michael Bay making all sorts of several different movies. Based on old children's programming. So we're going to go ahead and read his email off here in a little bit. I thought it was very interesting. Our real-life horror story this week is 16 creepy things that kids have said to their babysitters. That one's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre prequel news. Whoop-de-doo. New stuff for Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Some news on Fatal Frame 5. Also some big news on a Godzilla movie that's coming out soon. Well, this one's not really an article. This is more of just kind of like a, hey, everybody, go look at this. But we did a riff tracks for the Leprechaun movie a couple weeks back where we watched the movie live on the air. Myself, Edge, Killer McCoy, Sayomara, and Scott from Far Afield. And I just realized today going on Netflix that all the other Leprechaun movies, the good ones that we could have chosen versus the crap one that we were forced to watch, are now all on freaking Netflix. So that was kind of my big announcement there.
Good job with the timing there, Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. It's what? We did it on freaking St. Patrick's Week. You think that would be the week that they would put all the Leprechaun movies out there for people to watch. But no, because we're all about not using sense when we go ahead and do these shits. It makes no sense to me. Why would they do that? But anyway, those are out, so that's just news. If we end up doing another riff track sometime soon, hopefully we'll be able to do Leprechaun in the Hood, which is what people wanted us to do. Part 1 and Part 2 is also up there. One other thing, just to let you know before we go ahead and get into the show topics of this evening, podcastland.com. It is a website that goes ahead and has people vote for the top podcast of the month. Since this is the first week of April, they have started their new round of voting. So please head on over there, podcastland.com. All you need is an email address to go ahead and vote. Give us a vote and all the other wonderful shows here at rivalcastmedia.com. You can vote up to 5 times per month. And if you do vote, it helps us out, gets us a little bit of publicity. Baroness and I have never finished outside the top 15. Actually, we're usually in the top 5. So this month we slipped a little bit, but that's all right because there's a lot of good shows that came out this month too.
We kind of forgot to mention it.
We did, and we still came in at number 15, number 16, which is still pretty good considering we didn't advertise it much. We've been branching out, meeting some new shows through that list. There's some wonderful ones. Whoa, God, what was the name of it? Zombie Podcast, but that's not quite right.
What?
There's more to it. There's one I've been listening. They're kind of like a conspiracy theory type show. I've been listening to some of their older episodes, but I cannot remember. Oh, there it is. ZDP, the zombie. I can't read my own
ZDP
writing.
Incognito?
I think that's the name of the episode. That's the problem, is the guy's got like 4 or 5 different shows on his network, so it's kind of hard to... It is the Zombie Radio Podcast. ZDP, and that's how you can look it up, by Zombie Radio. You can find them on Twitter as well. I've been listening to a lot of their shows. They do a lot of mixes with different kinds of music. They do a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. It's a very interesting show. I've enjoyed it pretty much. And I've reached out to the guys who run it, and we got a pretty good working relationship. I'd like to try to bring them on one week and maybe do a little bit of an interview. I think it'd be great. So we're thinking about doing that too in the near future, but we'll give you guys updates on that as we go along. So those are our topics for this evening. Before we go ahead and jump into those, let's check in and see how our weeks have been going. Baroness, as you stuff your face with shrimp.
I haven't eaten anything all day.
I'm not saying there's anything
And
wrong
you're
with
like,
it.
here's some beer, have that. I'm like, that's not going to go over well.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you eating your shrimp cocktail. You enjoy it, but at the same time, while you enjoy
look
it...
at how beautiful I made that, people.
Yes, she did. I mean, she spent a lot of time
I
on
went
that.
all out.
And she knows I wasn't going to eat it, so...
You never eat seafood.
I like fried shrimp. But those aren't fried shrimp, so...
No, they're not.
But hey, I got to give it to Red Lobster, though. They do have the best steak. But anyway, how's your week? How's your week been going? What's been new in your world in the past week?
I've been having a very good week. A very busy week. Nothing horror related. Although come Monday, somebody else might have some horror related things involving me. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be a fun time. How about your week?
If Abby is telling you that you should tell me, or is saying to you that you should tell me that my ass is grass and you're the lawnmower.
Oh my God, we were laughing about that.
That was
so
a great.
hard.
That was a great line when you showed me that.
Okay. So he hadn't heard it either. So I was told apparently this is a very, very common phrase in the South, because both Vampy and then when Bio heard about it later, he was like, "How have you not?" I'd never heard it before. I mean, I've heard his ass is grass, but I've never heard the full thing. So they were mocking me for being Northern, just a little bit. It's all right.
I've known the phrase "your ass is grass." The lawnmower bit was new.
I know.
That's why I was rolling so hard.
I
That was
know.
hilarious. What were we watching that we saw that?
I don't know what.
It was something that I was. It was something I had pulled up on.
It was It was the end for one of the those trailers that you.
Oh yeah, I was watching Honest Movie Trailers.
Yes. I don't
And
know
the
why I
guy,
couldn't
the guy
think
with
of
the
that.
voice is like, "Your ass is grass, and I'm the lawnmower."
I know.
Which
and
I thought was
his
great.
voice was amazing too.
Oh, I love those. I get hooked on those. I rewatch the ones I've already watched before because they're just so fucking funny. Those guys do a great job over at Smosh Games. If you guys have never watched these Honest Movie Trailers, there's these guys that go ahead and they kind of. It's hard to explain, but they review like movie trailers in game trailers, and they just make fun of them. Talk about all the problems with them or all the different issues that are with them, and they're just freaking hilarious. They really take the task George Lucas on Attack of the Clones too.
Oh, I know.
Excellent stuff. It's fucking hilarious.
It's one
Definitely
of
go
the
check
things
it out.
I love most about parody is that you can get your point across so much better sometimes with humor and not taking it seriously than you ever could with just a serious discussion about, well, this is what we don't like and this is what we do like and blah blah blah. It's like, no, just have fun with it. Just have fun with it.
I like the one they did for Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like building up, and usually that's when they give like a really nice slam, and they go, "Oh wait, but this movie's actually good."
Yeah, I remember that.
And there's like, "What? We got to be honest." So get ready for nitpicking. And they just nitpick the hell out of it. But it was hilarious. It's so well done. My week has been very, very, very busy. Mostly because last week I was out sick. You guys all know the story behind that one. I already told that story. So basically, this is one of those weeks where 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So we also I had yesterday off because it's Good Friday, and the agency that I work for, it has a religious affiliation, so we get a lot of the religious holidays off as well. Woohoo! So we pretty much had to cram 4 days of work, or 5 days of work in 4 days, which was not easy to do, especially when you can't go or can't take any overtime or anything. So I was successful in doing that, and it was busy there. It was very hard because on Thursday was the last night that we had for the after-school program that I run. And the ladies that run it, who have done a fantastic job running this thing for 5 and 6 years now, went and got special grants to run this, found out they were losing their job. Like the day before, they were told, you know what, it's done, you're over, you're gone, after 18 years of working for the school district. So Thursday night was really difficult. I didn't get back to about a half hour before we did Baron Busts. So it was very emotional, because I'd say the last hour and a half was just these women sobbing and recanting their entire story, and myself and the other therapists that go over there to help out. Where we didn't, we're therapists. It's what we do. We sit there and we listen. We help people try to work through that stuff. So, and they're fantastic ladies. I've worked with them for a few years now, and it's just a real shame. So that was difficult. Then we come home and do Baron Busts, and then today, okay, this is a typical retail bullshit day. So I went into work. And it's Easter, and people are shopping like mad. The stores were mobbed.
Oh God, this was a ridiculous shopping day.
The credit card machines were going down. But anyway, this guy comes in. Big, heavy-set dude, big, full-on beard. He's got his hat down. His glasses are all set. His eyes are magnified. This guy looks pissed as a fart. He's looking for a fight as he pulls this receipt out of his pocket. By the way, out of a pair of jeans that look like they haven't been washed in 3 weeks. And he pulls it out, and in his tobacco-reeking breath, goes ahead and says, "Why the hell is this game $19.99 when you guys charged me $39.99 for this 2 days ago?" Well, sir, I wasn't here 2 days ago. Let me go ahead and see the receipt. And I'm looking, and he goes, "This is bullshit. This is why people don't go to the shopping to these goddamn stores anymore, and why they shop online. Because you guys go ahead and fuck everybody over." And he's raising his voice, and we have a store full of people. There's little kids running around, and this guy's swearing like he's a goddamn sailor who just got off the boat in New York. So as I'm looking at the receipt, yeah, there is a $39.99 price on there, but that's for the other game that he bought that's above it. His game that's $19.99 on the shelf right now was also $19.99 when he bought it. So I showed him his receipt, and I actually went, I had to scroll my finger around because the first 2 times I tried to explain it, Dr. Dumbass here didn't get it. So I actually said, "Look, game title, this is how much you paid." "Oh, okay." Grabs the receipt out of my hand, turns and walks to the back of the store. Doesn't say 2 words to me ever, and avoids me the entire time I'm there, especially when he goes to ring out. It's like, you dickhead, could you at least say sorry?
No.
I mean, my God, pull your head out of your ass. It's obvious that you just got emasculated in front of everybody, that you look like a total ass-tard, and people already know it. At least get some semblance of dignity back and say, "Dude, I'm sorry." It would have been done. I wasn't going to rub it in the guy's face. I'm a professional when I'm at work. You might not get that sense from watching these shows, but when I'm actually on the job, I am a professional. Okay, I work to a professional standard. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I work very professionally. Just say you're fucking sorry. No. Suck it up, man. I mean, my God, you're not the only one in the world who's looked like an ass-tard in public before. You might be doing it at a much older age when you should definitely know the fuck better, but you're not the only one in the world who's ever done it. Apologize. Get a little bit of sense of decency. Show these kids that it's okay to admit fault when you're looking like a jackass.
Here's a better idea. Quit going out in public and swearing like a sailor in front of small children.
There's that too, but you know what? That's how you learn. You come to the conclusion, oh my God, I really look like a jackass here. And then you change your ways. My God, it's a revolutionary concept. It's called experience. This guy obviously has not been humiliated enough in public. We need to do it more often. And I understand, this is like a really small thing in the nature of bitches, but
this goes back to what we were talking about earlier this afternoon about what social justice warriors should really be allowed to do.
Yes, explain this.
Okay.
Explain this.
All right, so I want to take back the idea of social justice warriors because this has been an ongoing thing this week. Thank you, E-Man Caves.
That's hilarious.
We'll read this in a minute.
That's hilarious.
This has been an ongoing theme this week, so I just want to say we need to take back the idea of social justice warrior and turn it into what social justice warrior should actually be, which would be people who have half a brain in their head, dressing up in capes, going around to public places, and laying the bitch slap down on those who deserve it. So, like, dirty dude in your video game store who, wanted to swear like a sailor in front of small children, I can see Varya walking up in a shiny cape and going, "Sir, that sort of behavior is unacceptable," and then whacking him with a newspaper. Get the point across. If some chick is having a meltdown in the middle of Bath and Body Works because, she ran out of a scent that she wanted and the scent that she's looking for is actually 2 shelves over, but she won't listen to anybody to go 2 shelves down to actually pick it out of the shelf because that's where it is. You know, I'm perfectly happy strapping on my bedazzled heels and sashaying over there in my pink cape and going, you know what, bitch, you're going down. Get out of my star. Just walk away right now. Not that that happened earlier today, too. But I'm just saying, social justice warriors should be delivering social justice. And filming it and then posting it on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/rivalcastmedia. But anyway, get that little plug in there.
All right, well, E-Man Cave said, as my screen here just went ahead and moved
No, it's
itself.
because you're
What the hell?
screwing with it. You're going.
I am not screwing with it. I was
Yes, you
trying to
are. You're
scroll
making-
up to
you're
read it.
making it
Why do you
zoom in
turn
and out.
everything into a fight? Why do you do this to me, woman?
Because I'm your wife.
Yeah, you're supposed to be supportive. You know, to love, honor, and obey.
Have you not ever seen an American sitcom ever?
Yes, I have. And
See?
that's not real life.
Oh, wait.
It's not real life.
Those are the social constructs that I'm being
Love,
trained
honor,
to
and obey.
obey my ass.
Come on, you don't remember that thing from Firefly? Wait, she swore to obey? Well, no, but that's my point. She obeys. Come on. Working some Firefly humor in here.
I'm just saying.
All right, well, my screen had to refresh. So read
All
what
right,
E-Man
so
Caves wrote.
E-Man Caves wrote, on behalf of people who don't wash their pants, I would like to apologize.
Dirty pants that are not washed clean. Dirty pants that are not washed clean.
That's beautiful. And by beautiful, I mean extremely frightening, and I might have nightmares tonight. Thank you.
Going
Barry.
back to retail, I've discovered the 3 B's of working in retail. Booze, boobs, and BO. And those combinations usually are all together at the same freaking time.
I'm so glad I've never had a retail job
Oh
ever.
my god.
I mean,
I don't know why I let
I've-
Steve keep talking me to come back.
I've dealt with some pretty interesting characters when I was in college and I worked in restaurants, but never to the extent. Well, no, the Freedom Fry lady who went off when I told her, I'm sorry, ma'am, we only serve French fries in this establishment. And then the manager backed me up because she went off. It was beautiful. Yeah, she comes close, but not to the level of crazy that you deal with in your.
Well, it's amazing. It's
your
like when I worked in the
moonlight
video
job.
store, we didn't get this much craziness. And the people that come in that are crazy aren't even gamers. They're shopping for gamers.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to like sell a stolen product that they stole from gamers. It's just weird. I mean, the actual stereotypical overweight, BO'd, sweatpants wearing, ass crack showing like gamer is actually a bit of a rarity. And we're a high volume store. We're probably one of the second highest volume store in our district.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. I mean, it's
Never.
I just don't get it. But no, then you get the little tramps that come in with their shirts that are down around here, and I told you guys the story of about the one,
Yeah.
which is what got the title from the guy I work with of boobs, booze, and BO, because she had all 3.
Yeah.
She was dressed nice, but my God. Anyway, moving on. So, that was pretty much my week. I don't really have any other fun stories other than kids coming up and trying to April Fool's prank me and realizing that I was better at it than they are. They would try like stupid things like, hey, you know what? Your shoe's untied. Oh, I gotcha. It's like, really? This is what passes for humor in your age group? This is what happened? This is the
No,
YouTube generation at its
what
best.
what makes that story all the funnier is that they were going, haha, gotcha, before you even had a chance. You didn't even bother to look.
Of course I didn't bother to look. I'm not stupid. I knew it was April Fool's.
All right. So question. Because I know we have a tendency of pulling pranks around here on a pretty regular basis. Not just on Rivalcast, but like, in general. So, were there any, like, thinking back over, I won't say how old you are, all of the April Fool's that you've had over the years, what are some of the pranks that you pulled that you remember? Like, what are some of the better ones?
One of my favorite ones is I took a bottle of Dr. Pepper and a Mentos, and I cut a hole through the Mentos and put a little string through it, put it in the cap, put the cap on the bottle. Before you screw it down, pull the string out so the Mentos drops in, close it, shake it up, put it in the fridge. And then waited for my brother to open it, and pow! All over the place.
which your mother was extremely happy about.
Oh, we got to clean before she even knew.
Yeah.
And we cleaned it so well. It's one of the few times we actually did something that involved cleaning that we got away with. Because usually you can't get away with shit when it comes to having to clean shit up. Another one that I've done, I told you about hiding under the bed and getting my sister pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But that was more of a revenge than it was an April Fool's prank.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
My favorite of yours is still when we were in college and you convinced the guy that you were peeing on his door.
Yes!
That was hilarious.
Yes! And there was a time that I told him I was videotaping the girls sunbathing outside my dorm window.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
that one
These
too.
probably need some stories. Okay. So in my dorm room, in my dorm, there we had 4 hallways that went off of a single hall. You had the main hall, which had the elevator, and then the resident aid, and then over here you had a guys' hall, girls' hall, guys' hall. So in the guys' hall, there's 6 rooms, and then there's a bathroom at the end for the 6 of us to share. And as we're all joking and laughing, and of course there was drinking involved, because what college dorm story doesn't involve a lot of drinking, and what Barron's story doesn't also involve a lot of drinking. So anyway, we're getting shit faced. And we start messing with this guy because he was just being a real bitch, just whining a whole lot. Ever had that friend that's just like when it starts getting later at night, they just start bitching about every little thing and they can't stop, and they're really whiny and nasty about it. So I eventually told him, like, dude, you need to chill the fuck out or I'm going to piss all over your door. I'm telling you I'm going to. He's like, oh, shut the fuck up, leave me alone. I'm out of here. Goes in his room, closes the door. So I go and get a cup of water, fill it up with a little bit of Mountain Dew, and then I start dribbling it down his door. You can actually hear the drip on the floor. Blip, 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 blip. And then you just hear, what the fuck? And he gets up and you hear him come stomping towards his door. We all dive into our dorm rooms and close the door. And as he's coming out, he steps in it. And of course, we made sure it was warm. We left it out because we were playing this prank for a while already. Because he was just such a little bitch. What the fuck did I just step in? You guys are assholes. So he goes marching down to the resident aide, who, by the way, happened to be a friend of mine, who already knew not to answer her door and just kind of ignored him. It was great. He tried to get us back, and then we'd also take out like the eye hole, because we have like the little peephole in the door. Well, the guy who lived next door to me managed to find a way to like pop it out of the door, and then we took airsoft guns and we'd shoot him as he's sitting at his desk. We did that a lot
beautiful.
too. We barricaded his door with furniture. We were real assholes to this guy, but he always had it coming. So it was great. And then what was the other one? Filming the girls. Okay. So I told you guys before I worked on a documentary film about working in an insane asylum. Well, I was just getting ready to go to a shoot, and I was charging up camera batteries because I was one of the ones that was tasked with going in and filming when we get to go inside the building. And I just had my camera sitting out on my desk, and it's charging up. I'm sitting there putzing around on the computer waiting for it to be done so I could go to the shoot. When my friend comes up and he asks, "Hey, what's with the video camera?" And it's without even thinking about it, I just look at him deadpan and I say, "No, I was filming the girls that are sitting outside my window sunbathing." And he gets this look of complete shock, astonishment, yet somewhat skeptical that I'm actually telling the truth. And he's just like, you can hear the voice, the change in his voice go, "Wait, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're pretty easy. They're sitting right there. Come on, take a look." I didn't even know they were girls out there because my window was across the room. So he starts walking in, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm fucking with you. Of course I wouldn't. My God, what kind of guy do you think I am?" But I was tempted to see how long I could drag this out for. But the walls were thin, and I was scared the other guys around would be hearing this too, and word would spread. But he's like, "You son of a bitch, you scared the hell out of me." I'm like, "Admit it, you would have wanted to watch the video." "Shut up!" And then he leaves and goes back to his room. We did all sorts of stupid pranks. Then there was the haunted house that we did, which really wasn't a prank, but we scared the shit out of everyone much more necessarily than we probably needed to. I told that story online, didn't I? I don't remember what college stories I told you guys about my ghostly experiences and haunted houses and shit. But oh well, if you guys in chat want to hear that story, just let me know.
They're kind of quiet tonight.
No, it's all right.
They're just talking about Midol, so I don't know.
I think Midol needs a friend who's being a dick version of their medication. And with that, I drink. Because that seems like a tension breaker better than anything. So anyway, so you don't have any other really good pranks that you ever pulled?
I can't think of any at the moment. I'm sure that after we go off air, I will think of 15 of them and go, "Ah!" Because that's usually how things go, but...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've kind of been off topic for a little while here, but of course, as you can see, there aren't necessarily any topics to be off
Yeah,
of.
time out. We don't have any topics to get
Well,
off
but
of.
the reason I introduced this is because Manly Stuff sent us a tweet saying that he wasn't going to be here tonight, that he couldn't be here to listen to the show because he was going to be spending the evening and his Easter in a 150-year-old home that is rumored to be haunted. And he was asking what we think his odds are that he might actually experience a ghostly haunting. And I said, you know what? If depending on how active it is, pretty likely. And we honestly want to send this out, Manly Stuff. We hope you have a lot of ghostly encounters so you can come back and tell us some great stories. But if you didn't take a camera or a voice recorder, dumbass. I don't care if it's a family event. Paranormal evidence for the sake of the show comes first. First! So, there you go, Manly Stuff. Just want to let you know we're thinking about you.
That's when he's going to have, like, the most badass experiences that no one will ever believe he had because he won't be able to back them up. Because that's just how the world seems to work, you know? Not that I'm still, kind of bitter about a couple of those things.
Gee, what instance could you possibly be referring to?
Well, I don't want to start another spousal argument, so we'll just let that
Since when?
We'll just let that drop.
You know what? I don't recall you throwing out the idea of putting something in there to go ahead and keep filming.
I'm talking about the outside one specifically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that one I can definitely
Yeah.
see why you'd be pissed
Yeah.
off.
Oh, I was. Oh, the control room one. Yeah, I'm to this day extremely pissed at myself because as someone who's done this before, I should have known better. I really should have known better.
But you know what's the thing though? Usually we set our control rooms up in rooms that aren't necessarily have a lot of experiences, and that's even on the maps that they have around the building. I mean, it was never marked off as being a room that had a lot of interactivity in it.
Yeah, it was always the room that people just used to keep the pizza in and go back to recharge the batteries.
The EVP that we got in the
Smack the
gentleman's
piano
room. The
around.
gentleman's room's another room we don't usually get anything in, but we got something. So, but of course we don't want to give away what that is because that'd be a spoiler for Orbfest 2014 and Varyar's first EVP. So we can't give that away entirely as to what it said.
How's that video coming along, by the way?
Slowly but surely.
Okay.
Very slowly but surely. I'm teaching myself how to edit a movie as I go along, and it's not been a smooth process.
No, that
So.
happens.
It's still a ways away, folks. I'm working on it. If I could actually get somebody that has a background in film editing that could help me with it, I'd really appreciate it. But there's just none around here that I can call on because all the ones I know don't live here anymore.
That's true.
They all left Ohio. I was thinking about it the other day because we were thinking about doing a reunion down at Ohio University in the spring, and it's amazing just how many
This
of
is
my
the spring,
friends are
sweetie.
gone.
This is the spring.
Okay, the real spring when it's actually warm outside.
Oh, you mean when the daffodils finally bloom?
No, I mean when the weather's nice outside. I don't really give two shits.
The weather
when
was
the
pretty
daffodils
nice outside
bloom.
today. I was outside working in what will eventually be my garden.
I was outside too. Oh no, wait, I was inside at work. I hate working Saturdays, but anyway. So let's go ahead and get to the show topics that are on hand this evening. Again, there's quite a few, but they're short, so we'll probably end up ripping through these pretty quickly. So, but in any case, let's get started here. Let's do a couple of these that actually I did not mention at the start because I just found them as I was going ahead doing my ranting and raving for earlier. For anybody that's interested, according to Collider.com, the first Batman vs. Superman trailer is going to be attached to Mad Max Fury Road. So when Mad Max Fury Road comes out, you will get your first glimpse at Batman vs. Superman. And then a new Star Wars trailer for The Force Awakens is going to be attached to Avengers Age of Ultron. So that's going to be when you see the next Force Awakens trailer. So Star Wars will be attached to the Avengers. So, are you scoring because you shot something into a garbage can, or scoring because of Star Wars and the Avengers?
No, I scored, so therefore, no, not that.
Bow,
yeah,
chicka,
that's-
bow, wow.
that-
You scored, huh?
Yep.
That quickly?
Yep.
You can tell it wasn't me then. Boom,
Nice.
sick burn!
Nicely played, sir. Nicely played.
This is why we need our drop-ins back.
I
'cause
need
this would be like a classic
five more
one.
imaginary internet points for my toaster now. I'm so excited.
For your toaster?
Yeah. I gotta cash them in.
Toaster.
Yeah.
We have a toaster.
We have a crappy toaster. This is a magical imaginary internet toaster.
Moving on. Anyway. Bloody Disgusting, Screen Rants, Collider, Fangoria have all talked about the triumphant Ash versus the Evil Dead promo. They have released a poster, an official poster for the Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yes, this is big news. Now, you know what? I get some of you people out there who might be skeptics, who might say, you know what, Baron? A poster's really not that big a deal. And I'll say, you got a lot of nerve, buddy. Because this is not just any poster. This is Ash versus the Evil fucking Dead poster, okay? You know what? This is Bruce Campbell taking on his iconic role, chainsaw in the air, blood splattering everywhere, ready to kick some serious ass kind of poster, okay? You better do better than that and show some freaking respect, because you know what? This is good news. So we're going to read the Bloody Disgusting article because, again, I really like the work that they do. So first off, they announced again that Lucy Lawless has now been cast to play a character called Ruby, who is described as a mysterious figure who is myopic in her quest to hunt down the source of the recent Evil Dead outbreaks. Oh, and by the way, she thinks that Ash is the cause of it, so there's going to be a little bit of a fighting going on there. But anyway,
secretly she's in love with him too.
Oh, I'm sure, dude. I'm sure he's wanted to bang Lucy Lawless and Jack of all trades. But you know what I didn't know? Because they actually list like all the different movies and stuff that Lucy Lawless has been doing for the last several years. My God, she's been in like almost every Sam Raimi production ever, which means she's been starring with Bruce Campbell for like freaking ever, even on stuff that they didn't do together. Lawless joins the previously announced cast members: Bruce Campbell, of course, Ray Santiago, who's playing a guy named Pablo, Dana De Lorenzo, who is playing Kelly Maxwell, and Jill Marley Jones, who is playing Amanda Fisher. The series is a long way to follow up the blah, 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 blah. And, of course, they have to go ahead and they have the writing here that we already read of the official, this is what this is about kind of thing. So, anyway, the poster is pretty freaking swank. Like I said, it's up pretty much everywhere that covers any kind of movie news. I know RottenTomatoes.com also had a link to it as well. I'd link it up in chat, but unfortunately I don't have chat open on this computer, so you're just going to have to go look for it yourself. But it is pretty sweet. It's got Ash standing in the middle. He's got the shotgun in one hand. His chainsaw's up in the middle of the air, and they have all the evil trees and woods everywhere. It looks pretty freaking sweet. So definitely check that out. Baroness, are you going to go look for it now?
Which one did you... Screen Rant or Bloody Disgusting?
Bloody Disgusting. They've all got it, but Bloody Disgusting is probably the quickest to find it on.
Bloody Disgusting is not coming up on Google search.
Misty would like it known, Baroness, that she is thanking you for going ahead and posting up your
I saw. I
posters.
Responded to her already.
Oh, okay. Yep, yeah, there it is. All right, anyway. This one's probably one of our longer ones, so we'll hold off on that one. This is kind of something big that I'm pretty excited about. This, again, is being reported by all the major movie news sites. Toho's Godzilla will be, quote, everyone's worst nightmare, and then there's a teaser that goes along with it. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of Godzilla, and again, shame on you, don't you wish this camera was in 3D right now? But when we went ahead and released, and when I say we, I mean the Americans, when we released our big Godzilla movie this past year, Toho was inspired. Now, Toho was brought in. They're the creators and company that own the right to Godzilla. They were really inspired to go ahead and go out and try to make a new Godzilla film, because they haven't made a Godzilla film in several years now. In fact, what has it been, like 2003, 2004, I think was the last Godzilla that was released. So Toho said, you know what, America, well played, but we're going to try to one-up you. We're going to start production on a new Godzilla movie of our own. So this is the first news break that they've released ever since they first announced that Toho was going to go back to doing a new Godzilla film. So this is a pretty big deal for those of you that are big fans of kaiju movies. But after the success of the U.S. Godzilla remake, Toho announced they were developing a brand new Japanese Godzilla film of their own. In the first domestic Godzilla film since 2004's Godzilla Final Wars. Wow, 2004. It's been 11 years. Toho Company will be producing the all-new Godzilla film to be released in 2016. Making the rounds from all sorts of various sites comes the below teaser image that shows Godzilla's footprint with news that Anno Hidaki, I'm assuming I'm saying that right, is the film's writer and supervising director, with Anno Hidaki directing the pick. Which is funny because it's the same name for both things. But anyway, in addition, there's also going to be a translation via Anime News Network in which they are taking Godzilla in, quote, a nightmare direction. Higuchi entered the film industry when he worked on the 1984 Godzilla film, so he remarked with delight at directing the new Godzilla film, finally the time has come, the playtime is over. And he is vowing that next year I will deliver the greatest and worst nightmare to everyone. So they're not really going into details about what that means. The last paragraph kind of goes into talking about Gareth Edwards' very mixed reviewed American Godzilla film that has 11 minutes of Godzilla in a 2.5-hour movie. But that's a bitch for another day. And again, they do have an image of Godzilla's footprint. Not all that shocking, not even all that surprising. Hell, not even all that titillating. The fact that there's any news at all coming out of Toho, especially with a rough time frame of when they're going to release it, that is the biggest news to take away from this. Because again, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, have been ever since I was a little kid. They used to have the Godzilla movies they'd show every Saturday afternoon that my brother and I would sit and we'd watch for hours on end. So to me, this is very exciting because it has been a while since we've seen a legitimately outstanding Godzilla film. The American version, the most recent one, was close. It was a good film that should have been great. You can go back and listen to older episodes of Ghost in the Podcast to hear my ranting on that one and my critiques of that as well. It was good, but should have been great. We deserve to be great. Now that Toho is finally inspired, and I think they're going to go back. My assumption when they say Nightmare is they're going to go in the direction of Godzilla being the bad guy and just terrorizing the shit out of things. And if they go that route, thank God, because that was the movie I was hoping we were going to get from the American version. That he would actually, not that we'd see the aftermath of cities being destroyed, but actually see him wrecking the fucking city. Because that's what people want to see. We want to see a monster pick up a building and throw it.
You mean you actually wanted to see Godzilla being Godzilla in that movie last summer?
Yes, I know. What a revolutionary concept.
You didn't want all the really poorly done side story that, seemed to me like it could have been a really, more in-depth side story, except for the fact that it looked like it was edited by a 10-year-old.
All right, now my impression of a Godzilla movie. Kid sitting on the couch. What's on TV? I don't want to watch this. Let's watch something else. Now 2 hours later into the movie. Oh my God, I have to defuse this bomb. 10 minutes trying to defuse this bomb. Now we go back to the fight. Burning building. Somebody running into a shelter. Girl who's playing the Black Widow in the Scarlet Witch in the new Avengers movie. Oh my God! Somebody save my kid! Another hour goes by. Fight over. That is your Godzilla movie in 30 seconds, folks. Were you bored? I was bored.
You put a little too much emotion into it. The actual movie wasn't quite so heartfelt, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Yes, because you know what? The doughy-eyed actors. I get it. I get why they cast that jackass to play that part. He's got doe eyes, because for some reason, looking like Bambi is considered a good thing. To me, I just thought he looked like a fucking jackass who was coked out of his mind. But what the hell do I know? And then his hot wife, who I guess you could say is hot because she looked like she was so thin that she was strung out on heroin, was going ahead and running around trying to save everybody but her own freaking kid as there's giant monsters destroying the city and a giant fucking flood coming down Main Street. But no.
Didn't get that.
Here, random stranger, please take care of my kid. That's great. And it's also great to see a father trying to go ahead and save this little Japanese boy and spends more time trying to save this kid and keeping him safe than he does trying to keep his own kid safe. Why? Because that makes a lot of freaking sense. I'm going to come home as soon as I can, but first I have to go on this really dangerous mission that only I can do because I'm the only jackass who actually knows how to work an analog bomb because everything's been digitalized. Wow, amazing. How did that? I can't believe a kid his age even knows what the hell analog is. So anyway, then they go ahead and try to defuse this bomb while Godzilla's fighting two monsters, but we can't focus on actually showing Godzilla fighting two monsters because that would be cool and revealing too much. Because Gareth Edwards and his wonderful, background of making one stinking movie that was a monsters type artsy film, which same thing, you didn't see the monster until the very end for like 30 freaking seconds. It's just walking away into the distance. So again, we can't show actually anything of the monsters. That's why we always have to have dust. It always has to be nighttime, and everything has to be all dark and freaky until the final end of the movie when we see Godzilla in all his broad glory as he's passed out and sleeping in the fucking ruins of San Francisco. Because you know what? Nothing says badass monster like him taking a nap. That makes no freaking sense to me, all right? You know what? People, when they see a Godzilla movie, when they see a kaiju movie, they want to see wanton destruction, okay? That is what we're paying our money for. I said, you know what? Here, take my money, show me some great things being blown up. You know what? We didn't get that. No, we got Godzilla rising up out of the water. We see an ocean wave coming down, wiping out Main Street, but a little kid saved at the last possible freaking second by a dog or something, I think, because God knows Lassie is heartfelt. And then, what do we get? We get clips of this little kid watching it on TV of Godzilla just snapping in the air with this flying, shit thing, trying to go ahead and get to him. But do we actually see the fight? No. We get the ending where Godzilla's getting worked over like a little bitch by two skinny anorexic moths, and The part where he rips the thing's mouth open and then breathes the radiation breath into his mouth, which I will give, that was pretty freaking cool. But that's it. That was your payoff, all right? That's like 2.5 hours of foreplay for a 5-second orgasm. You know what? I can't imagine anybody being satisfied by that, all right? You know what? No, I come back looking for seconds. And I imagine you would too. And this just makes no freaking sense to me. Why would you make a kaiju movie where there's not a lot of wanton destruction? You know what? I get that they want to show it in all these great graphical CGI, shots of these buildings going in, burning and rubble falling everywhere. But I want to see the monster actually do it, all right? If you're going to show a Halo jump where you're coming down from the freaking sky like fucking Superman and the whole thing's being lit up by all these flares, see this great panoramic view of Godzilla stomping through the cityscape, show him actually destroying something. Have him knock over a building. Have him bitch slap something like the Golden Gate Bridge. Something. Because you know what? No city deserves wanton destruction more than San Francisco. Because you know what? It sucks. San Francisco needs to sink into the ocean as is. But you know what? We don't get that. No, we don't get Godzilla destroying anything, because that would be cool. Because again, the artsy-fartsy way of life is let's show nothing, which makes no fucking sense when you're watching a kaiju movie, which is all about showing everything. People pay to see Godzilla, not doughy-eyed jackass who ultimately serves no purpose in the movie because every mission he has to try to do something fails miserably. What does he succeed in doing? Destroying a few freaking eggs. Well, you know what? Not only did Ripley destroy a few fucking eggs, she got into a giant robot and took it to the queen alien and kicked her ass. You know what? That is a fight scene worth watching. But no, not in Godzilla, because we can't have the title character actually show up for more than 11 minutes in the whole fucking movie, because that would actually be, making sense and actually get you a decent profit and probably even a good rating from the freaking critics, who, the ones that actually gave it a good rating, we're comparing it to the 1998 Drek that Roland Emmerich did, who, by the way, is in the busy making the next 2 Independence Day movies.
Stop.
Thank you for ruining my rant, but go ahead.
Again. 1998 Godzilla never happened. We agreed to this. There are rules. It is actually written.
It is written, but you know what? Those critics referred to it. And that's why this movie got such a great, outstanding review. It's because it wasn't that movie. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. You know what? I can go ahead and show you Jason vs. Jaws, and although it's not technically a Godzilla movie, it would still probably have more Godzilla in it than the fucking Godzilla movie that just came out. Again, was it a terrible movie? No, it was not a terrible movie. It was a decent to good film, but you know what? We fucking deserve great. We, as Americans, have been screaming for a good kaiju movie. They decided to give us Cloverfield, and we decided, you know what? That's not good enough. We deserve better than Cloverfield. And you know what? We did, because Cloverfield was a stink fest, okay? I don't, screw anybody who goes ahead and fights up for that thing. You know what? 30 freaking seconds, listen to that cameraman go ahead and bitch about how the anorexic girl doesn't like him. I'm sorry, I lose all interest in the fucking movie, whether you have a gross-looking monster or not. So, you know what? We deserve better, okay? Americans deserve better out of their Godzilla films. We deserve better out of our kaiju films. We deserve wanton destruction, damn it. What do we have to do to get a decent Godzilla movie? You know what? We have freaking 2012, the great monster 2012, going ahead and destroying everything with great CGI. We have The Day After Tomorrow, where basically a windstorm and a bunch of snow goes ahead and destroys the entire East Coast. We have The Fucking Happening, all right? The Happening from M. Night Shyamalan, whatever the fuck his name is, going ahead and destroying the entire East Coast of the United States in an abysmal movie that half the country didn't even see. In fact, I'd say 3/4 of the country didn't even see, because for some reason they learned after Lady in the Water what the rest of us should have learned. So this makes no sense, okay? The one monster that is known for being destruction, the fucking allegory for nuclear holocaust, is the one thing that we can't get to actually come and destroy anything here in the United States and do it in a competent manner. Thank you very much, Gareth Edwards, for being a jackass. And thank you again for Hollywood and Disney for going ahead and putting him in charge of a goddamn Star Wars film. What are we going to get from Star Wars film? Well, you know what? Everybody really wants to see a Jedi, so we're going to barely show a Jedi till the very end, and you're going to just get a glimpse of his lightsaber as he's going ahead and delivering the killing blow to a Sith Lord. That will be the kind of Jedi treatment you're going to get from freaking Gareth Edwards. Or you know what? Star Wars. You know what? It's named Star Wars, so we obviously have to have a space battle. We're going to have 30 seconds of a space battle, but we're going to have 30 minutes of a space battle, but you're only going to see about 30 seconds of it, because we're going to be dealing more with a person who's in the stowaway back in the cargo room than we are with the actual battle that's raging on around him, with all the destruction, spaceships, and everything flying and blowing up all over the fucking place. Because you know what? People seem to care more about that kid than they do in the storage room than they do about the fucking fight. No, they don't, jackass. They really don't. They want to see the battle, all right? They want to see some fucking shit get blown up. welcome to the reality, pal. This is your wake-up call. And I know you're never going to see this because I'm too small time. We're too small time for us to actually ever reach you. But my God, that by all that is holy, you know what? As we celebrate your day of resurrection, Jesus Christ, please deliver a lightning bolt of freaking insight into Gareth Edwards to go ahead and make a decent, competent Godzilla film when he tries his hat back at it in 2018. So anyway, as I go on yet another rant, so what's going on in chat?
Killer says he senses much anger in you. E-Man Caves is saying Godzilla would make a great Jedi. Nowden's agreeing.
He doesn't need the Force.
Nowden's agreeing, saying Godzilla with lightsabers, I'm sold. And Vampy is sending me links to some really cool fascinators on eBay.
Burlesque large party gift.
No, it's pretty. It's here. I have it up actually. I'm thinking about clicking buy it now.
So Vampy, you're sending my wife things from burlesque shows.
No, it's. Oh damn it! It's ended. No, it's the little. You know, they clip in the hair, and they're not quite hats, but they're pretty. They're pretty. I feel like going out and grabbing the ones I have upstairs. And trying not to knock my... Oh my God, that would be so freaking amazingly funny.
No, it wouldn't, because my PS4 and my soundboard are right there.
If I were the one to party foul tonight...
You've party fouled before.
Not often. Not
I didn't
like
say
you.
often, I just said
like,
before.
Actually, now that I think about it, your elbow's right there. Just saying.
Now you're going to be the one to knock that one over.
Just saying.
And the power pack's right below me and my lap. I just realized all my core electronics are right here. There's my laptop. Here's my
laptop.
Shut up. Laptop. Here's my iPad. Then I have my PS4. Then I have the soundboard for the system.
I need a hat. I'll be right back. I need to go find a hat.
Are you drunk already?
No.
Good.
Look at that. I've barely touched that.
And your point is? I've been drinking with you before. I know how much of a lightweight you are. What?
Just being mean now.
I'm not being mean. I'm being truthful. Can they even see it?
Probably not.
I still get to see it.
This is my cool thing. Well, I tried calling you when I had it going on in the living room, and you.
I was setting up for the show.
You said go plug it in and I'll look at it. No, you didn't.
I said go plug it in. I'll come look at it when the show setup's done.
Yeah, and then you never came.
Because you set it up with 30 minutes to go to showtime. What'd you expect? I had to pull up all the articles and shit. I also got logged out of my email for leaving it up too long.
Really, mine's in most of the time.
Well, whoop-de-doo and la-da. Go get your hat.
Then again, I kind of not working.
Yeah, I just realized to put in my my Facebook password.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Or rather, the one you created.
Oh yeah, because I was tired of being your social secretary. That's a good point.
Bioman is telling me not to get electrocuted. Yes, that would be bad. Although I bet it would be hilarious for those watching, but it would be bad if I got electrocuted. All right, so last week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take you back a little bit, take a break from the articles here. We were having discussion on Ghost in the Podcast here about what would it look like if Michael Bay did a Smurfs movie. And, Smurfs movie, then we talked about the anatomy of, female Autobots and exactly how they'd have kids. And then we got in the topic of Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and how that's a catastrophe and all sorts of shit. So... and we also talked about if Michael Bay did the Muppets and did Sesame Street. It was a very hilarious episode. Definitely go back and check it out. It's episode 89. But it also spawned an email that we got from Sayomara. Sayomara is the host and co-host of Farfield. He's also done the Grand Old Podcast. He was on the Doctor Who Livecast. Has been one of the big staples of show hosts and contributors here to Rivalcast Media since our beginning. And he sent a very interesting email that I want to go ahead and read here. And if anybody ever wants to go ahead and email the show, it is ghostinthepodcast@gmail.com, ghostinthepodcast@gmail.com. Pretty much send all your thoughts, comments, and reviews, and anything that you think might be interesting that you might want to get read on the air. Hate mail as well, I guess we can take that, although I prefer not to. So his email reads, "Evening, friends. I just wanted to hit on a few topics we talked about in last week's show. Number one, the TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic, which by all accounts is amazing, just killed Donatello." And he goes ahead and lists an article here that I'll have Baroness put up in chat when she gets back, because, again, I'm not in chat right now. Number 2, Michael Bay's Sesame Street wouldn't use Prairie Dawn, having been forced to watch Sesame Street for my daughter's love of Elmo. Prairie hasn't been on the show much. With more focus going to Zoe, the green one. That is really all there is to say about her personality. Rosetta the Spanish one. But the one female monster that gets more attention than the others is Abby the fairy, and you can think of dozens of ways for Michael Bay to make that terrible. Well, even more terrible. But in any case, Prairie Dawn doesn't hit the right demographics anymore, so they seem to be phasing her out. What he's referring to as what's a staple of a Michael Bay film, and has also resulted in many public outlashes, tongue lashings, and lawsuits, is the fact that he likes to go ahead and put his women in his movies in very sexualized roles. And in the most controversial of all being his latest Transformers one, when the girl that he was going ahead and slutting out was like 16 or 17 years old. And then there's this great plot line about how she's going ahead and dating a 20-year-old, and this justification as to why they're going ahead and allowing them to date. And I can only think the same thing that they put out in Honest Movie trailers is, you know what, if they actually put the kind of time and thought they did into justifying a 17-year-old fucking a 20-year-old, they'd probably have a decent plot on their hands for a Transformers movie. But it is what it is. So anyway, the question that I posed to Baroness last week is, you know what, if Michael Bay goes ahead and does a Sesame Street, which Muppet is he going to go ahead and slut out? You know, which Muppet's going to have the low-cut shirt, the little, Muppety coochie thing staring, all that fun stuff. And, Hoochie Goochie, yes, that's what Baroness was singing just as she goes down to the basement. So anyway, I'll wear a hat as well. Not the duck hat. Let's wear the turkey hat. I look pretty, damn it. But anyway. So she suggested that Prairie Dawn would be the one that'd go ahead and be slutted out. Now, me, who hasn't watched Sesame Street in 10 years, has absolutely no clue who the female Muppets even are, or even that they even have female Muppets. In fact, the only female Muppets I remember from any time in my life would be Miss Piggy and Skeeter. That's pretty much it from the female Muppets that I remember. So that's why, Marcel Mara is saying here that he doesn't think that Prairie Dawn would be the one that they'd go ahead and slut out and, go ahead and hang himself all over everybody, but it would probably be one of these other ones that he mentioned here. And then number 3, lastly, Mitch Pileggi, who plays Walter Skinner on the X-Files movies, because we're X-Files TV show and movies, because we were talking about the X-Files reboot last week, was a regular guest star in Stargate Atlantis until the show went off the air in 2009. That said, looking at his IMDb, it doesn't look like he's actually been lacking for much of work, and then he has the link here. Now, we were talking about the possibility of Walter Skinner and the cigarette smoking man coming back for the X-Files reboot. And we were thinking we can't imagine they've really been up to much in the years they've been gone. Well, Sayomar is, proving this wrong. Now, Walter Skinner has been in You Are an Analysis, Blue Bloods, the reboot of Dallas, Sons of Anarchy, booyah, Grey's Anatomy, The Finder, Mega Cyclone, Against the Wall. So actually, he's been in Supernatural, Medium. So he's been doing some pretty big time stuff. He was in a couple episodes of Castle, Criminal Minds, Brothers and Sisters. So he's kind of been all over the place. He even did the voice for Commissioner James Gordon for the Batman cartoon, which was a god-awful cartoon. But hey, he's been getting stable work. Also, speaking of Mitch Pileggi and the cigarette smoking man, whose name escapes me right now, they did confirm, and when I say they, I mean on BloodDisgusting.com and some of the other websites, that they will be returning and reprising the roles for the X-Files. So that is some good news there. So, Sayomara, thank you very much for the wonderful email here. I definitely will want to look up the one where they kill off Donatello. Because why would they kill off Donatello?
Because Donatello is, the
fact, let's pull that
greatest
up.
turtle. And, of course, did
He's
you ever
not
notice
the
that?
greatest turtle.
Did you? Yeah, first of all, yes, you're wrong. He is the greatest turtle.
He's not the greatest turtle.
But
He's good. He's good.
Did you ever notice that in dramas and things like that, if they're going to kill off a lovable character, it's always the lovable geek? Always.
Give me some examples.
U.S. Marshals. Okay, so it was a follow-up film to The Fugitive. So
Right.
it follows Tommy Lee Jones is reprising his role. Has
Right,
his
I remember the movie.
His whole team. They get all the way to the end of the movie, and they shoot and kill. And in a very, I cry every time I see this particular scene. Because it was completely pointless for them to kill off this character. It's like, why would they do that? Why would they do that?
To create intrigue. That'd be my only guess.
It
I
was
really
the
don't
end.
know.
Seriously, the movie ended within 10, maybe 15 minutes.
No,
If
they killed
that,
him.
but I don't think-
They killed him no, it was probably closer to a half hour. But you get the idea. It's
Yes.
the final part of the movie.
Yes, there was no point to it. It just made me sad. That's my chicken hat. You don't look nearly as awesome as I do in that. Here. Give it here.
It's amazing how many freaking hats this lady has.
Oh, I just brought
Wash.
down.
Wash is another level of geek they killed.
Yes.
Firefly.
Again,
Who
last
else?
few minutes of the movie, no
Optimus
damn
Prime.
reason.
Optimus Prime
No
died in
damn
the original
reason.
Transformers movie. He
Mhm.
wasn't the geek. Duke almost died in the G.I. Joe movie. I'm talking about the kid's good one, like the cartoon one. They almost killed him off. Actually, they originally were going to kill him off, but test audiences hated it, so they brought him back to live. Which was a shame, because that would have been
Why
awesome.
did they kill off geeks?
But Duke wasn't a geek, and neither was Optimus Prime.
Okay, so you're giving non-examples then.
I'm giving counterexamples to your argument.
No, there are plenty of movies where they just kill off characters. That
So which
doesn't-
one? So what are some other ones where they kill off the geek? No, I'm being serious.
Those are the ones that come to mind right now, and I'm not going to be able to think of it because now I'm being pressured. Let me research it. I'll get back to you.
All right. Well, while she does that, I'm going to go ahead and read the article that Sayomara sent in about killing off Donatello. It's a dark day for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as one of the heroes in a half shell met their end in the latest issue of the franchise's comic book. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! This week's issue, Attack on Technodrome Part 4, includes a battle that leads to the death of Donatello at the hands of Shredder's lackeys Bebop and Rocksteady. Donatello was separated from the other turtles, running point from their home base as Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael went out into the field to fight Krang. Bebop and Rocksteady, on orders to kill Donatello should the plan run into problems, take on the solitary turtle and eventually defeat him. IGN has the final page where the turtles and the others return home to find Donatello on the ground, Splinter cradling his head as the rest weep around his body. The comic was written by Tom Waltz and TMNT's original co-creator Kevin Eastman, who have returned to the franchise to its original dark roots. While many fans may know the series for the goofier and lighter films and multiple animated TV shows, TMNT started out as a brutally dark comic in the 1980s. Now, this is a comic book, so where Donatello is actually dead, or for that matter, remains dead without being revived, certainly remains a question. And this, of course, won't mean Donatello suddenly disappears in other versions of the franchise, like in the ongoing Nickelodeon cartoon animated show. Now, wouldn't that be a real bitch? The cartoon shows that are still popular right now, and they suddenly kill off Donatello in those too? Wow. That would be ballsy. I'd have to give him some points for that. If you think about it, though, Donatello is not the most popular turtle.
Which is just
I'm
wrong.
not saying it's
sorry.
right, because I know how you feel about Donatello, but I'm just saying he has never been the most popular. Michelangelo has always been the most popular for the kids. Raphael has always been the most popular for the teenagers because he's a sarcastic jackass. And Leonardo is the die-hard hero that everybody wants to be. And Donatello is the lovable geek who goes ahead and creates things. Just like we live in a society now that's afraid of math and science, no one really fights too hard to be Donatello. With some obvious exceptions, Baroness.
Back to wearing my favorite hat.
Anyway, so thank you, Sayomara, for sending it along. And again, if anybody else ever wants to send emails or comment on things that we talk about or anything in between, go ahead and email us, ghostinthepodcast@gmail.com. And that's, well, we'll go ahead and get you online. You can also post it on our forums at rivalcastmedia.com. All right, so let's go to this next one. This is one that actually you found, Baroness, for our real-life horror story.
Our creepy children thing?
Yes.
Children are a
me.
non-stop source of creepy material. I'm just saying.
Gotta cross off my things here so I know what we've talked about and what we haven't. All right. So this is entitled 16 Frighteningly Creepy Things Kids Have Said to Babysitters. Do you still have this article up?
I never had the article up to begin with because I didn't realize until just before we went on that you were going to talk about it.
Oh, I don't know why we wouldn't. It's
Give me
pretty
a minute.
applicable. No, I just figured we'd take turns reading these off, so I'm not reading the whole
Oh,
time.
you gave me an assignment, which I'm coming up short finding these things now because Google is failing me.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll look at it for another time. All right, so this article starts off, when kids say the darndest things, it's usually cute, innocent, and sweet, but there are times when the darndest translates to creepiest, like when they totally freaked out their parents here, really scaring the bejesus out of their babysitters in this list. These kids blurt out the most eerie, bone-chilling sentences you could never want to hear in a million years. Are you ready for this?
16 ones, right?
Yes.
All right. Let me
And I just realized that since we are doing a video chat or a video show, probably is more of a rhetorical question than I asked that.
Huh?
Yes, Artemis M. Ghost in the Podcast is going on this early because tomorrow is Easter Sunday, so we're airing a little bit earlier than usual.
And for those of you who came in looking for the Rivalcast, we're doing that on Fridays now after On Tap.
Yes, you already missed the Rivalcast, already aired this week. E-Man Caves, Donatello is the only turtle that can do something besides fight.
Huzzah!
Baroness obviously agrees with you on that one, E-Man Caves.
There we go. This is what we're looking at, children.
All right, so number 1. I was babysitting a kid and we were watching TV in his basement. All of a sudden, he shuts the TV off and whips his head to stare at the wall behind him. He stared for a solid 3 minutes and said, "Not now," and continued watching TV. A few minutes later, he looked at the wall again and said, "I'll see you later, okay?" I was so freaked out. Number 2?
It's just coming up. Be
Okay.
patient. My God.
I am not patient because patient means there's dead air, and we already worked past that name.
You could just, read the second one. I mean,
I
there's that.
suppose I could. Forgive me for trying to get you more involved in the show. Number 2.
I'm trying to load the free. Oh my God, really?
2 years ago, I was looking through my school yearbook with my 5-year-old cousin. When we came to the page with my year 2 class on it, she pointed to a boy's photo and said, "That looks just like Nicholas." When I asked who Nicholas was, she just said, "The boy in my closet," and continued to look through the pictures. And I almost died.
Creepy.
That's when I would want to go up and look in the closet just to make sure the kid. But I'd be scared shitless like going upstairs. Have you ever babysitted a lot before?
A fair amount.
I did, and there have been times where just weird noise and shit. Like it always happens when the kids go to bed, because then it's quiet and you're in the house and you're in a house that's not familiar to you, and you can just hear things like creaking and things, and you're just on edge the whole entire. I've had a lot of
my
horrible
God.
experiences babysitting where nothing ever really happened, but just in like the hour or 2 hours it takes from when they go to bed to when the parents come home, you're just on edge waiting for it because there's just so much. Every little noise just has you jumping. It's like,
Yeah.
What the hell is that? You hear footsteps. Okay, well that could be the kids going to bed. Or it could be going to the bathroom or something.
There was one night I was babysitting for. It was a married couple, but they were professors at the college that I was going to at the time, and I had them both for class for various things. I worked for the one for a while in the advising center, and for this particular summer, they had hired me on to they had a nanny who got married and moved away. So for that summer, the girls were both in school, but for the summertime, they just hired me on to do the day-to-day stuff with them and watch them for a few hours. So, but there was one night where they had gotten tickets to go to a musical and needed me, for the evening as well. So it's like, yeah, it's not a problem. The girls were fantastic. I mean, they're both grown, and the younger one is about to graduate high school. The other one's been in college for a couple of years now. They're just fantastic young ladies. So never gave me any problems, so I was like, yeah, not a problem. It's nighttime, it's in a good neighborhood, this huge house, it's a fantastic place to be. So they went to bed, and it wasn't quite Halloween time. I don't remember if it was just before or just after Halloween time. I know it was in the fall when this happened, though. And they had gone to bed. I sat down in the living room, to work on some homework stuff for class. And usually in their living room, they had this big TV, but like us, they don't watch a lot of TV, so it was in like this wardrobe cabinet that you could keep closed, and it just looked like, just like a cabinet or whatever. And usually it was closed when I was in there, but the girls had been watching TV before they went to bed, and I hadn't closed the cabinet up yet. So I'm sitting on the couch, and I look up, and in the reflection of the TV screen, I can see a little man sitting right behind me. Now, the way that this living room is laid out is they had a fireplace right behind the couch that they never used, but the couch was in front of it, and there was like this little, like probably about maybe a foot space between the back of the couch and where this fireplace was.
Mm-hmm.
And, end tables on either side with the lamps and stuff. But, so I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm, like, where I am, the TV set is, like, just kind of, not straight on, but, like, kind of at an angle from me.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and I can see this little man, this little face of a little man just sitting right behind me. And I'm turning around, and there's nothing there. I'm like, all right, it's late, whatever. I look again, it's still there. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I start looking around. I'm like, I'm not seeing anything, and this thing isn't moving. So I'm like, you know, and the minutes are ticking by. It's like now you're looking at things, and I got up and I started looking around, and I couldn't see it in the screen anymore. This is the only time I'm seeing this is in this reflection. So I'm like, all right, go upstairs to check on the girls. They're both sleeping. It's like, fine, whatever. I was just seeing things. It's late. I'm tired. Whatever. So I go back down, sit down on the couch again. I start working on my homework, and I look up again, and there's that stupid little man. I'm like, what the fuck is this thing? And I'm getting freaked out because when I get up and I'm looking around, then I don't see it in the screen. What it was, now this is just before flat panel TVs became very popular. So the TV set has this slight little curve to the screen. What it was is one of the girls had left a little vampire doll sitting on the end table. I didn't, where it was, I couldn't see it when I stood up because it was just, how it was positioned. The only time I was seeing it was when I was in that particular spot on the couch. There was just enough where the TV caught the reflection, and with the curve, it moved it slightly, so it looked like this little man was sitting right behind me. I was freaking out.
That's creepy.
It's
Hilarious,
like, oh
but creepy.
It was like I figured it out, and then it was like 2 minutes later they finally got home. I was like, you will not believe what I just did. Wah, wah. He's like, did you get your calculus homework done? I said, no, there was a little man sitting behind me, and it was freaking me out.
Which then starts the next Reddit, creepy things the babysitter said to the parents that they experience in their homes.
Oh.
Remember when I was house sitting for a relative? A certain relative had the hot tub.
Yeah.
The creepiest thing I ever had. Okay.
That was.
Okay. So I was house sitting, and for those of you that don't understand the idea of house sitting, basically if somebody goes out of town for an extended period of time, they have someone stay at the house, so that way there's always somebody there. The neighbors realize there's somebody there. You can also take care of the pets that are there, and basically you're kind of keeping an eye on things and making sure there's a presence in the neighborhood so people know the house isn't empty, so that way they don't think that they're gonna go, people can just go over and break in and just start stealing shit. So this is like really early on when Baroness, I think it's like the first year or two we were dating.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even that long. But we were, I was house sitting, and I was taking care of the pets. And one day, I'm getting ready to leave for work. And it's a single-story ranch house, but there's a basement to it. And in one of the rooms in the basement, there's a spiral wooden staircase that goes up to like an office room on the first floor, right outside the main hallway.
But it's blocked off and never used.
Right, because they have little kids, and so they blocked the whole stairway off so the kids couldn't get up there. Now the stairs were still there, but there's no way they could get to them. There's ropes and boxes and everything blocking. There's really no way for anybody to get there unless they pull the whole thing off and then walk up and then put the whole thing on. And then they also put a round board on top to hammer it in, so the kids can't keep going up and down because they were trying to convert the room into a bedroom.
No, the kids were really small at the time.
Oh yeah,
So
they were very small.
it was there so that they wouldn't fall down it.
But they were also converting the one room into the one room into the kids'
That's
bedroom.
true, but it was blocked off so that they
So,
wouldn't. Yeah.
in any case, the point is there's no way to get up those stairs or even anywhere to go unless you can either remove a bunch of nailed down boards and remove this blockade at the bottom. Yet as I'm coming back, I'm coming in from I just got off work, and I was working down the street. That's one of the reasons why I was asked to go ahead and watch the house, because I was right around the corner. And it's broad daylight. Well, it's not broad daylight. It's starting to get toward the evening time, so it's starting to get dark. And I walk in, turn on the light in the basement because I came in through the garage, which, the doorway's to the basement. And as I'm walking by the stairs, I see something that, out of the corner of my eye, that I stop and I look, and you can see footprints. Now, there's like a really, really thin layer of dust on these stairs because they hadn't been dusted in a while. They hadn't been used. And this is like the second or third day they're gone, and they're supposed to be gone for a whole week. And you can see footprints going from the bottom of the stairs all the way up to the top of the stairs. Fresh footprints in, again, some pretty obvious layers of dust. And these things were fresh, like that day type fresh, or sometime in the last day or two fresh. Like there's no way that... Point is, these footsteps should not have been there.
Point is, I got a very frantic phone call going, hey, can you come over here right now? Because I need...
She did. She came over. I stayed in the basement. Actually, no, I think I stayed in the garage area until you got there. And then her and I went room by room searching to make sure there was nobody in this house. Like, that's how convinced I was. That's how deep, that's how fresh these footprints were. That I honestly thought there was still somebody in the house.
Now that I'm thinking about it, though, You called your girlfriend over. Why didn't you call the cops? I don't remember.
I called my parents too.
Yeah.
Well, because what if there's nobody there? I don't want. I didn't want. I didn't want. And at the same time, like after I called you, the next thought in my head is, you know what? I remember my cousin telling me somebody died in this house. Oh no, that was later. We had that conversation later. Never mind.
We didn't know about that.
Well, we didn't know about that. But I also knew that there was another individual who used to live in that house, who was not allowed to be in that house, who every so often would leave where he was supposed to be and would go to that house. So that's my other thing is, okay, maybe he was here, but at the same time, it made no sense. This stairway's blockaded. There's nowhere to go. It's boarded up. I mean, it's, to be honest, you could probably go up 3 or 4 steps before you'd have to start hunching down because there's just no ceiling to this thing.
They went up. I mean, they went up like a fair amount. I saw.
Yeah, they went up almost to the very top. So later on, so Baroness comes over. We search the entire house from top to bottom. There's nobody in there. Nothing else is out of place. Nothing else is moved. All the other doors are locked. The dogs are fine. And again, you know,
none of the boxes around the bottom
they were not
of the
moved.
staircase had been moved.
Nope, they weren't touched.
They were renovating at the time too.
Yep, and they still had dust all over them as well.
It was just weird.
So about a month after I'm done, and I stayed there for the rest of the time. The nights were really.
You had
those were long nights. Well, you offered to stay over a couple nights, and we were there anyway, and we were working in the same place pretty much. So, and we were hot tubbing it, so that was always fun. So, I stayed there, finished it up, and then a month later at a family party, my cousin, who's the one that I was house sitting for, comes up, and we were talking about the ghost hunting that we do in the paranormal investigating, and he mentions, you know what? There's a woman who died in this house before we bought it. And he's telling me this story about this woman and this man who lived there, and I can't remember if it was the woman or the man who died in there. Point is, somebody died in the house. And as he's explaining things that he's seen and things that he's been going through, my first thought is, holy shit, that's probably what this was. Like, we probably just had like some kind of experience. I'm not even aware of it, which then freaked me out even more. I'm like, oh great, I'm sleeping in this house this whole time with this shit going on. The dog wasn't acting any out of the ordinary or anything. It was just
there were
weird.
a couple of times that.
Tucker man, my roommate that I used to joke around. He was an older dog too. I mean, he died not that long after, but he was suffering pretty bad by that point. I mean, he was just such a good dog too. So yeah, I mean that was a freaky experience I had. I guess if you want to technically count that as babysitting, where something actually seemed to happen.
House sitting. Yeah,
house sitting.
That works.
All right, do you have it up now?
Yeah.
All right, you want to read number 3? Read number 3 and 4 since I did the first 2.
Nah, this one's not as good. My little nephew used to talk about a woman who would visit his room at night. He said she wore a red dress, that her name was Franny, and that she would sing to him, and that she floats.
We all float down here. We all float down here, Georgie. All right, number 4.
That just reminds me of my own nephew when he was small. When my sister was still living at my mom's house.
Oh, that's when they were telling us that they think the house was haunted. They were asking us like how to ghost hunt it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what had happened for this particular one is Chase was just over a year old at this point. He wasn't big enough that he was walking yet, and it was shortly after he came home from the hospital because he had some birth defects when he was born. So the first like 7 months of his life he was down in the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. So this was like shortly after actually it was longer than that, because I remember that Christmas he was there. Anyway, so he was still very small, and my sister had to do something outside one day. So he was down for a nap. She had him sitting in one of those little, not quite a bouncer seat, but it's like one of those. It wasn't the bassinet, but it was like one of those seats that you can put the kid in, and they just kind of like lay there and whatever. So she was in that, or he was in that. He was taking a nap, and she had gone to, I think she was taking the dog outside. She wasn't going to be outside for very long, but she was always very skittish about, leaving him alone for any reason, because, problems and stuff. So she had the baby monitor on her, and while she's outside with the dog, she hears a woman's voice come over the baby monitor. Now, my mom's at work. Nobody else is in the house. It's just her and the kid and the dog. She's outside with the dog, so the kid's in the house by himself for a minute. And she hears a woman's voice come over the baby monitor going, "Oh, you dropped your bink." She flew into that house and was upstairs. There's nobody there. Chase didn't have his pacifier anywhere near him when she put him down. Now, he was only down there for like, a minute or two while she was outside. And she heard this.
I got the goosebumps going on.
No pacifier anywhere near. She goes upstairs right after she hears this voice because she's like, what is by my kid? And he has the pacifier in his mouth. Never woke up.
And we got a phone call not long after that asking us like okay, there's something here. How do we ghost hunt? How do we find out? And so we're giving her tips. I'm like, well, try this, do that. I don't know if did they ever get anything? Because I know they tried a couple times.
I don't think so. I know when they moved because they moved to their own house like a few months after that, and that was where the really weird stuff was happening. But I kind of talked her through how to do some stuff, and she's like, you know what? To be perfectly honest, she did the recordings, but she never listened to them.
That's one of those once you know, you can't unknow.
Because she didn't, yeah. She's like, you know what? It's not bothering the kids. Her fiance thinks she's nuts. She's like, you know what? I'm okay with being crazy because once I know, it's like, whatever it is only talking to me. I'm the only one who seems to be noticing.
That she knows of. Or because doesn't mean the others might not even just be paying attention. The kids, it might just be, okay, it's just business as usual. Because if they're not scared of it, why would they react to it?
I think Riley sees things sometimes. I do.
Wouldn't surprise me. She's young enough.
I mean, she just, the way that, like, she has conversations. I mean, it could just be like her imagination, but it's just it's the way that it comes out sometimes that kind of gives me pause.
Edge is saying, hunting ghost step 1. Find a friend who has an unlicensed nuclear accelerator.
I know.
Bio, where's my proton pack? Damn it, I want it. We also have a new viewer in here who's talking about his favorite horror books. Necroscope, Brian Lumley. Brian Lumley is pretty decent, not bad. I'd also recommend if you like horror books. Actually, I have it right here because I've been rereading it. A new listener, if you really like horror books, I recommend House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. And I realize that this is breaking the 7-second code, so Baroness and I have to start pounding beer now because I just got a point in the game. But read this one. It's about a guy who buys a house with his family and finds out that the house on the inside's bigger than the actual dimensions of the house. And then turns out that he finds a strange door that appears in his downstairs one day, and there's a labyrinth inside. Ooh. And the book is actually written and designed to be like a labyrinth. There's two co-occurring storylines. It is one of the better horror books I've read in a very long time. Again, it's called House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. It is fan-freaking-tastic. I definitely recommend that.
You know, in our starter house in House of Rivalcast, we had a labyrinth on our roof.
You told me about that. How is your Let's Play going, by the way?
We had a lost episode this week. I should have recorded it, but I didn't, and I really regret that. I mean, I would have. It would have been a nice kind of like alternate reality story because I would have reset it anyway because Killer died and I was like heartbroken over that. So that wouldn't stand. But yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. SimBio and SimBaroness went to visit SimHax so that they could make friends because finally everyone's in the same neighborhood. But Hax has to live by himself because it's just reasons. So they went over to. I have had 3 sips of my beer, including the one that I just had. It's still warm.
Keep telling them that.
I've lost my train of thought now. Shame. Yes. So we go over to his house and they were playing chess and just having it because they got over there and just walked into his house because that's apparently what you do in The Sims. And he immediately went to bed because apparently we weren't all that interesting to him at first. But yeah, so they sat down, started playing chess, had a fantastic time, started talking about Arachnos. Little spiders were coming out, and they started, this is my favorite, they started talking together about bat work. And when SimHax woke up, and they're all sitting around at the table together, just having a grand old time as they would probably do in reality, they were roaring, talking about the little bat work.
And for those of you that don't know who Batwork is, this is why you have to watch my my Let's Play series, Baron Bust, every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And you'll meet Batwork and meet Wad.
I'll be honest, it was a pretty amazing experience, and I really, really wish that I would have recorded it because, yeah. What the hell are you doing?
Double fisting, baby. It is Saturday night. Woo! What? Don't judge me. I feel I need to explain my art to you. So anyway.
No, Misty, I am not making a Sim Misty to live in Hax's house. Not happening.
Why? Is that who she wants to hook up with?
Especially after the words that you used with him after, after Biomed's post on Thursday. That's just, or Wednesday night.
The buzz was my fixing the microphone. All right, so anyway, number 4.
I mean, I didn't even realize that you knew those kind of words, but I mean, I realized he was a little bit out of line, making sense and all, but that was a little harsh. It was a little harsh, I'm just saying. Oh, and then Edge takes it too far. Okay, number 4. A few years ago, I was putting my friend's daughter to bed for the night. She was about 3 at the time, and she was at that stage where she'd regularly fight going to sleep. She asked me why she had to go to bed, and I said because it's late and it's time for little girls to get a good night's rest. She then pointed at nothing across the room and said, "What about that little girl?"
Ooh. Ooh.
This is the point where I stopped reading because it was nighttime when I found this link and sent it over to you, and I got to that and I'm like, yeah, I need to not have nightmares.
Yeah, but you know what? We're powering through. Number 5. Little kids know some weird stuff. My niece is 4 and talks about her older sister constantly. She was always talking to her too, but she is an only child and has no idea that her mother had a miscarriage a few years ago. All right, number 6. I was heading to the bathroom on the second floor of my auntie's house when I saw my cousin April on the stairs. She was 4 at the time, so very hyperactive. She was busy making funny faces while sitting on the stairs. I asked her what she was doing, and she said, "I'm copying the lady with the braid." I looked around, and there was no one else but us. So I asked her, "Where is this lady, April?" She pointed to a beam running parallel to the stairs.
Oh my God.
I asked April, "What is the lady doing?" She said, "Making funny faces." Thinking nothing of it, I started walking up the stairs again when April said something that stopped me in my tracks. Her braid is around her neck. I turned around and asked April to repeat herself. April pointed upwards and said, "The lady is hanging by her braid. She's making funny faces." Then April started making a face, which I then realized was someone gasping for air.
Holy shit.
Oh my God. Oh, fuck.
I'm not smiling because
Oh
I'm
my
happy
God.
here,
Look
people.
at I am goosebumping all over the freaking place.
As soon
Holy
as I read
shit.
she pointed to a beam, I realized
that was my
holy
thought, too.
Shit. Ooh.
My God, I can't. If and when we have kids, if we experience something like that, I don't know what the hell I would do.
I'm kind of hoping that they're mute, to be perfectly honest, because I don't want to know these things.
I don't know what I would do. Like, if you think about it, okay, whether you believe in paranormal stuff or not, when a kid says something like this to you, a kid that is completely impressionable to every little thing, can, see things or take things literally, there's an honesty to it in the way that they do their imaginations and what they experience and yada, yada, yada. I don't know, again, whether I believe or not, I don't know what I would do. Because even though I'm a believer and have had my experiences, and again, I'm not saying you have to be, obviously, I just don't know what I would do if my kids saw that. What can you do?
Nothing.
Because at that point, it's not like the ghost is trying to hurt the kid or anything, but I mean, it's just they're just seeing this really frightening thing, and thank God this girl seems to have no concept of what the hell that is. Granted, she probably will when she gets older, when she can probably handle it.
Yeah, if she remembers it.
At 4, there's a chance.
Yeah.
Because human
that's
memory
true.
starts around 3.
That's true. Well.
Man. God, that's creepy. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, number 7. I lost my boyfriend to a stray bullet a few months back when I went to visit his little cousin a few days after it happened. He came up to me while I was crying. He asked me why I was crying, so I told him that I missed my boyfriend. He had this little confused look on his face and said, "Why? He's sitting on the doorstep."
Aww. That's kind of touching.
Yeah, I think so. Not all ghost stories are creepy. All right, you want to do the next one?
That's true. Oh, wow, I totally misread that at first. Okay. The little girl's name is Sarah, not Satan. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. All right.
A little girl named Satan? Really?
I was scrolling down the page, okay? Sometimes my brain doesn't quite pick up on letters properly. My
Tension of the
God.
moment, guns, smashed with a hammer.
I once babysat a girl called Sarah who used to love when I went round. Her mom used to tell me how she always requested me over the others. One evening, Sarah took things a step further by saying, "When you die, I want to put you in a glass jar so I can keep you and see you forever."
Jeez.
I mean, that's creepy, but it's not like, Alright, hold on, I gotta go to the next page. Whoa, what was that? That was definitely not anything on topic. Creepy internet people.
What are they doing now?
Oh, it's just random advertisements with spherical boobs.
Ooh, boobs. Anyway. What? Oh, come on. I had to say it. It's for comedic value.
Number 9. I was watching my neighbor's 3-year-old daughter, and she looked up at me and asks, when's the baby going to come out of your tummy? 2 days later, I found out I was pregnant.
Maybe she was just fat. That could be an honest mistake one. Come on, it's a little kid. It's, fat people and pregnant people look the same when you're a little kid. Hell, I've seen certain coworkers that would technically pass for. What?
Baron, because Misty, I don't know, she's probably in
I
there
don't give two
yelling right
shits
now.
what Misty thinks. She
That
can
is
HR
not
her ass all
okay.
to hell for all I care.
That is not okay.
That is okay.
No.
There are certain people that we've worked with that people went up and asked them when the baby was due, who then said, "But I'm not pregnant." So don't tell me that it doesn't happen. All right, I'm just reporting fact. The fact that you can't handle it is not my problem.
That was amazing, by the way. That was...
Couldn't have happened to a more deserving bitch either. I'm probably thinking of somebody completely different. My old boss's boss.
I really hope so, because I'm friends with that person. and
No,
that really
I'm not
is
referring to her.
okay.
No, I'm not referring to her. This is somebody that you don't even talk to. You want me to write the name down? Do you feel better?
No, I don't want to know at this point. I would rather just go on with the article, to be perfectly honest. Oh, again, we're back to our
See?
nephews.
Not her.
I don't see. Yeah, I do talk to her on a regular basis.
Still okay by me. She
Yeah.
was not nice to me.
Well, to be fair, we're not going to get into it. I was watching my nephew and asked him what he was coloring. A skeleton making machine was his response. A quick glance over his shoulder revealed that he was not coloring a skeleton maker. He was in fact designing a flesh removal machine complete with rivets for channeling blood.
Ugh. Ugh, that's a little Dexter in training right there.
Yeah, that's
A little
that's
Dexter Morgan.
more than a little creepy.
All right, number 11. One night I was babysitting my friend's children. The youngest, aged 5, drew a picture of a woman hanging from the ceiling, looked up at me and said, "She told me to draw this. She's coming for you. Hide." Again, don't know how to respond to that.
Da.
She told me to draw this. She's coming for you. Hide. Whew. Number 12.
Oh, I've read this one before. I was cuddling my friend's 3-year-old son, and he said very seriously, "I promise I won't ever chew on your bones. I promise."
Yeah, we read that one. That was from another list, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that one was on. It was on one of the Reddit ones.
But when you look at the context for that one, it was like after he had watched a dog chewing on a bone. So it was like, because we read this list before of like creepy things that kids have said to their parents or to other people, and you found out a lot of the stories it's because the people that reported them didn't put the whole context of the story in there. So this is one of those. It's like I don't think he wasn't trying to be creepy. I think he was just referring like because he saw a dog doing it because he was so young. Number 13. A few years ago, I was babysitting a friend's daughter. They lived in an apartment with a big patio window. She walked up to the glass door leading out to the patio and stared motionless into the night for several minutes. Shortly after, she ran into my arms saying, "Scary, too scary." She wouldn't let me put her down and demanded that I hold her and rock her for the next half an hour. Eventually, she started repeating over and over, the dark coming inside now, the dark coming inside now."
That's creepy.
That is creepy. Because that could be damn near anything. Number 14. While babysitting a 6-year-old boy, he took his puppy, held it up, and started crying. "Crucify it, crucify it, crucify it." That makes you wonder what the hell the parents are like.
Yeah.
That's like Carrie White's parents from the book Carrie.
Oh, they did pull these from Reddit. That's why. Okay. So the last two, number 15, a toddler I was watching woke up in the middle of the night screaming about something under his bed. I checked and told him go back to sleep. There's nothing under there. His reply, he's behind you now. See, this, ladies and gents, is exactly why we don't have an under the bed, okay? No.
If you want to know the story for that one, go back and watch On Tap from last night. All right, and number 16, the last one on the list. I was babysitting overnight. Both kids sleepwalk and talk in their sleep. The oldest was crying in his sleep, got up and locked himself in the bathroom. It took a while to get him out. I ended up sleeping on the couch, but in the middle of the night I woke up feeling like someone was watching me. He was standing next to the couch, and I said, "What are you doing?" And his response was, "The man watches you when you sleep." And then he walked back to bed, and I didn't go back to sleep. I can't imagine how creepy it is to wake up and see someone just watching you, even if it's someone you know. That's just so fucking creepy to me. It's like, whoa, you need to like, because you're so. I mean, think about it. When you're sleeping, it's like the same reason Wes Craven chose to do, a Freddy Krueger monster that comes at you in your dreams. You're so defenseless when you sleep. You have no, and especially if you're a heavy sleeper, you have no idea what the fuck's going on in the real world when you're sleeping. Anything could be happening around you, to you, whatever. That's why, like, one of the reasons when you're not home, you know how sometimes I'll get migraines and bad headaches? I won't put anything over my eyes when I'm home alone.
I know. Because
I'm just paranoid as fuck. I just won't do it. And I have my own little rituals and stuff that I do that, for my own paranoia's sake. But that's just like one of the creepiest things in the world to me. All right, so which were your top two of creepiest ones on this list?
Oh, the braid one by far.
That'd be mine.
One.
That'd be my top for number one.
Number one.
This would be my second.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, and Biomed is saying in chat, months after my last girlfriend and I split up, she was asked in a linens and things or something if it was okay for her to be buying a martini set. She did not have the problem when we were dating. I only know because a friend saw her rant on Facebook about it. Thing is, there's really nothing in chat that really responds to that. So I thought it was something relevant to what we were talking about. Damn you, Biomed!
I think it was when you were talking about when people are fat and pregnant, they look the same to a child.
Yeah, that could be. My bad then, Bio. I apologize. I will drink for you now. See? Man of my word. Apparently, our list of creepy things did not entice our new watchers at all.
Well, that happens.
So screw you! Anyway.
Well, you know what? They're trolling Twitch on a Saturday night, so obviously they're bored anyway. They're probably just, they're feeling out the waters.
All right, so we are coming up on 11:15. We have two more stories really to talk about, and then after that, I guess we could do after hours. I don't know if Killer McCoy wants to join us for that or not.
Vampy makes a good point. The worst thing in the world is when you're rinsing your hair in the shower with your eyes closed and you get that feeling of being watched.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. When I take a shower, I'm so glad that we have like a semi-clear door to the shower. Because I cannot tell you how many times, especially when I'm home alone, that I'm stopping and looking at the door. I don't know why it is. Maybe I've just watched like too many Friday the 13th movies and Psycho movies and everything else. But every time I have to close my eyes or something, I'm always immediately looking at the door just because I don't know what may be coming through.
I remember,
and I do it without even thinking about it now.
I remember one time, because when I lived in the apartments by myself, I always had like the clear shower curtains for the same reason. And I remember one time I replaced it with something that I couldn't find the one that I normally got, but it was like the one that I ended up getting was like a solid one. I remember you were so pissed about it because it was up for like 2 days and you're like, no, you go and you find this clear one because I can't take a shower if you're not here.
I can't. It's
so.
You know what? It probably is a response to playing as many horror video games and watching as many horror movies and everything else that I have over the years. But it's fucking survival, right? The reason those things are in those movies that are creepy is because people have actually probably died by those means before. And I'll be damned if I'm one of them. Okay, maybe not a chainsaw or a hockey mask wearing psycho, putting an axe through your crotch as you're doing handstands and shit in the hallway, like in part 3. But or getting your head pulled through and then slammed on the glass when you're inside the shower. Okay, maybe not that. But people have been killed by those ways, all right? Those
the
fears are
shower
founded
thing,
on
I'm sure.
something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So you know what? I feel kind of justified about that. I was actually creeped out when we first were looking at this house about having the basement. Because my first thought is because sometimes you go to visit your family in Pennsylvania and I stay behind because of work and everything else. And I was scared that having the basement here would freak me out. But to be honest, it doesn't. Our basement doesn't freak me out. I'm more freaked out about being upstairs by myself than I am about being in the basement.
I know, right?
And I don't know why that is. Because I don't sense anything mean or evil in this place.
No.
I mean, we've had some experience where we think something could be here, but I've never felt threatened by it, whatever it is. Which hopefully that remains to be the case, knock on wood. But
The only real problem I ever had with that was it was one of the first nights. It was before we officially moved in. We had just gotten the keys, and it was the night that I was scrubbing out the refrigerator because you were working late that night, and I'm trying to remember why we hadn't moved anything in yet. I was trying to convince you to come over, and there was a reason that you weren't. But I was here by myself, and I had the digital radio on, for noise and whatever.
I remember you told me about this when I came home.
And I had it on because Cleveland has a ton of different stations on, and I had this one, like, it was a top 40 station on. It was, it wasn't all that interesting, but it was just background noise. And as I'm in the kitchen, I'm like scrubbing this thing down, and this was god awful. I mean, that refrigerator was a fucking horror story in and of itself.
I can't believe they let us get that nasty.
But anyway, so I'm here. I'm in this house by myself. It's nighttime now. I've got the kitchen light on, but it's pretty dark in the house. And you start hearing like some distortion in the radio frequency, and it's slowly like almost like it's switching over, but I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because the tuner shouldn't do anything like that.
Right.
It ends up switching slowly over to the oldies station, where the song that's playing was about someone who died and trying to come back to comfort their loved one, is what the song was. And I was just like, nope, we are done here, people. And before I left, I remember yanking the plug out of the wall and going, nobody ever fucks with my radio. Came back the next day, plugged it back in, and it was back on the station that I originally had it on. I was like, yeah, don't touch that radio. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is I don't ever want to see you, okay?
The creepiest thing.
No.
The creepiest thing in this house that I ever had was that time I was doing the dishes and you weren't here, and I could have sworn you were standing in the doorway right over here,
had that experience
watching me
too.
doing the dishes. I could have sworn you were there.
I've had that experience too.
And I turn around to say something to you, and obviously there's nobody there. I go out and check the garage. Your car's not there.
Yeah,
I go out and check the driveway.
I've had that experience a couple of times. There's been one time. I'm trying to remember what I was home for some reason because it was daytime. It was, and I know it was a weekday, but I was at home. I don't know if I took it was Thanksgiving week when I was getting because I think I told Biomed after that too because I was like, that's kind of a little bit. I was standing in the dining room, getting some of the decorations out because I was using the dining room table to kind of spread out, and I was standing there and I saw the same like figure out of the corner of my eye that we've seen in the kitchen before, but whatever it was standing in the living room in front of the window, and like just in the time to turn around, like, what the fuck, gone. I was like, okay, well, whatever.
But that's the weird thing is, like, the history of the house, like you said, we've done the research. No one's ever died in this house.
Nope.
Like, it's there's people that have lived here that have passed away, but never passed away in the house, and weren't even living here at the time they passed away.
Right.
So that's the damnedest thing. It's like, I don't know if it's just maybe we're just having overactive imaginations, or maybe there is something.
Possibly.
I mean, it's hard to say.
What gets me though is that every time, and I've never seen it straight on, and that's what kind of gets. Well,
do you really want to?
No, because that remember, that was rule number 2. Rule number 1 was don't mess with my radio. Rule number 2 is I don't ever want to see you if you're here.
Right.
I mean, we can cohabitate because the way that the world works or the universe works. Okay, I'm totally open to that possibility. I just leave shit alone. And I don't want to see you. Now, peripheral vision is kind of like, well, it's not quite you're seeing it, but you're still kind of seeing it. But
Yeah, but I can live with that. But again, I've never
I don't
felt.
like seeing things out of my peripheral that look like people standing there that freak me the fuck out. I'm
Well,
sorry.
but
I'm
at the
just
same
throwing that out
time,
there.
you know what? It'd be different though if I felt like we were threatened. If this was a threatening presence,
Yeah,
I would
true.
have a big
That's
old
true.
issue
That's
with it.
true.
But I
That's true.
don't feel threatened by it.
That's true.
And hopefully, whatever is, if there is something
I'm
here,
waiting for a thump from upstairs to just like freak us the hell out.
well, probably the cat jumping
Hasn't-
off the
Hasn't
jumping down
happened
from the
yet.
window.
I'm just saying.
But you know what? It's
waiting for it,
even if
though.
there is something here, as long as it's friendly and it's not looking to freak everybody out and it's not going to hurt anything, I could really care less if it's here. Like you said, I can cohabitate and be fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Just also don't watch me when I sleep. It's fucking freaky.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten the sense being in the home, even when I'm home alone, blasting music and everything else. I never have felt threatened in this house. I think if there is something here, it probably likes us. I'm hoping. Because I think if it didn't, we'd know about it. If it didn't like us, we'd know.
Really?
So they wouldn't be subtle. And Vampy says in chat that she that's also why she has a clear shower curtain as well, for that same reason. All right, so we're coming up on the second hour here, so let's go ahead and jump through these last couple articles, and then I don't know if Killer McCoy's up for doing an after hours or not, but if he's not, then we'll just go ahead and call it. All right, so
Is he here still?
I have no idea. I have not been looking.
My headset's downstairs. so I don't
Yeah,
know.
it shows him that he's still here. All right, so Fatal Frame 5. This is news that's also been reported by Bloody Disgusting. The news is that it is going to be coming and released to America this year. Now, Fatal Frame is a very popular horror series. It's not one that I've actually played. I know Highlander was kind of giving me some crap for it, but unfortunately the systems that it came out on I did not have at the time these games were released, and now they're a small fortune to go ahead and get. The article reads, the timing of the story couldn't be worse, so let me quickly say that this is not an April Fool's joke. I had my fun earlier today, but now it's time to get serious. The House of Mario made a number of announcements during their Nintendo Direct conference held earlier today. Among them was the long-awaited confirmation that they'll soon be bringing the Wii U exclusive Fatal Frame 5 to North America later this year. Let me repeat that. The Wii U exclusive Fatal Frame 5. Really? Wow.
They
A
are
mainstream
desperate
horror game for the Wii U.
exclusive. Who still has their Wii U?
Steve does, but they only play it like once in a blue moon. The Wii U has done so bad that Nintendo has already started working on their next system. That's embarrassingly bad because that thing's only been out for like 3 years, 2 years, 2 or 3 years at most. That's embarrassingly bad. So supposedly Fatal Frame 5, which if I remember right was a PlayStation 2 series and a PlayStation 1 series, is going to be released for the Wii U. The way they worded the announcement leads me to believe that they may be renaming the game. Bill Trina, Nintendo's director of product marketing, referred to it as the, quote, new entry in the Fatal Frame series, end quote, with no mention of its subtitle. They may be treating the game as a reboot. And then they also have some screenshots here of the game, specifically how it would look on the Wii U controller. And it looks pretty freaking sweet. Now, the game, supposedly, the Fatal Frame series, you're dealing with ghosts, but you use a camera to try to scare them off. So I'm very curious to see what this is. And of course, they have a bunch of scantily clad Japanese girls because that just makes sense. All right, so Fatal Frame 5 is coming, but unless you got a Wii U, you ain't going to be able to play it. All right, last but not least of the stories that we have this evening is a story of, there's 3 different articles here about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre prequel that is currently being titled Leatherface. The first one on here is the original Leatherface. The guy who played him in the first movie will not be in the prequel. I'm not going to go ahead and go through this whole thing, but that was one of the that was the exciting part, though, was that he was going to be in it. What are you giggling at?
I'm sorry, I wasn't fully reading chat earlier, so I'm catching up. We have some interesting friends. I'm just
Of course we do.
I'm just saying.
No, that's part of the reason why Rivalcast is successful as it is.
That's true.
All right, so the bad news is that the original guy, which is one of the things they promised, is not actually going to be a part of it. The second article, and again, these all come from Bloody Disgusting. The next one's going to be from Fangoria. Leatherface, which is the title, is going to be a road trip / revenge horror film, which is interesting because I'm kind of curious why they would phrase it that way. So let's go ahead and get in this. In addition to our exclusive breaking news from last week that Steven Dorff will play Texas Ranger Hal Hartman in Leatherface, Steven Dorff... What? He's drinking his water.
I'm sitting here. I was like, I'm feeling something watching me. I was like, that's just so weird. And I turn around and Calvin's just like standing there like, no. And he
And now he's staring at you like, what the hell did he do wrong? He's just drinking his water.
I know, but
This
still.
time of night, he always comes down and buries his face in the water jug. All right, the prequel to Tobe Hooper's 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We now have an even more detailed plot breakdown. The film centers around a violent teen who one day will become Leatherface. He escapes from a mental hospital, really, with 3 other inmates, kidnaps a young nurse, and takes her on a road trip to hell. Along the way, they are pursued by an equally deranged lawman out for revenge. Oh, God. Okay. So basically, your prequel is Halloween meets The Devil's Rejects, okay? Halloween, The Devil Rejects. Let's remind you of the plot line for Halloween and The Devil's Rejects. Go ahead.
With a healthy dose of road trip thrown in there.
Well, that's what Devil's Rejects is. But Road Trip, yes. Road Trip would be in there as well. All right, so Halloween, Michael Myers breaks out of insane asylum and starts stalking babysitters. Plot for the original Halloween movie. Devil's Rejects. The bad guys go on a road trip because the police figure out who they are and try to raid them, and they escape while they're also being pursued by a deranged lawman who, by the way, is torturing the one member of the homicidal family that did manage to escape and go on the road trip with the others. Devil's Rejects meets Halloween, okay? We've seen this movie before. Twice. No, 3 times, if you count remakes. We've already seen this movie. So Dorff plays the lawman who is described to be us as a lean, mean Texas Ranger who has a vendetta against a teen boy who grows up to become Leatherface. Again, Devil's Rejects, because the reason the law guy's after the family is because the homicidal family murdered somebody that was close to him. We also had previously reported that the TCM prequel is presented as a mystery of sorts about 3 teenage psychopaths, one of whom grows up to be Leatherface. Sam Strike was cast as Jackson, with James Bloor starring as the buddy young maniac of his. There's still a third to be cast, and only... Okay, we're done reading this. How the hell do you do this for Texas Chainsaw Massacre? The whole point of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the dude wanted to make a woman's suit. Because again, he was modeled off of real life serial killers. All right. The whole point of Leatherface was to make a woman's suit to be a woman. He killed people and skinned their corpses to make a woman's suit. The same killer that Leatherface was based off of was the same killer they based off of for Silence of the Lambs. What also made that movie creepy was that it was his whole fucking family was involved. His whole family. Father, mother, grandparents, aunts, cousins. They were all part of the fucking homicidal family. Again, which is what Devil Rejects ripped off of. How the hell do you completely bastardize the story of Leatherface this easily? Oh my God. And I love the original fucking movie. I love it. One of my favorites of the slasher genre. How the hell do you fuck that up? All right. If Fangoria reports the last article, story revealed, the cast confirmed, and they pretty much go ahead and confirm everything I already read. While talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D, which was a completely abysmal and craptastic movie that completely bombed. So there you go. God damn.
You wanna... Are you okay?
I'm pissed.
Do you need a hug?
I'm pissed as a fart.
Do you need a cat to lower your blood
I need
pressure?
a cat. Calvin, come here. It's time for you to do your duty.
He's hiding.
You don't do anything else around here. Because Daddy's yelling again.
You wanna,
Daddy's in one of his moods.
You want another real-life horror story that's actually kind of entertaining?
Yes, let's do it. Let's get my mind off this shit.
Just look at where my cursor is. Take that in so many different ways.
I'm not sure how to take that, but I'm no undisturbed by it.
I know, right? I'm a little bit frightened. I'm more than just a little bit frightened on that.
God, on this camera, I look like I have a bald spot. Ugh. I know I don't, but
No,
my dad
I'm
didn't
just-
start going to seed until he was
I'm
in
just-
his 40s, so I got time.
I'm just refraining from the first thought that popped into my head because it was a mean thought. It was funny as hell, but it's a mean thought. No, it's not about you.
Oh.
It's about,
About who?
I can't tell you.
Someone I know, obviously.
Yeah.
About my father.
Yeah. No, not about your father.
He got mad when I used the phrase, Dad, I'm not saying you're bald, I'm saying you've gone to seed. They didn't go over very well.
I remember that. That
My
didn't
father
go
actually
well
flicked
at
me
all.
off. I was kind of surprised.
That was amazing.
This is the man that I lived in terror of that would beat my ass when I was younger. And he would if I'd actually done something wrong. Now he just flicks me off. Of course, my dad's like, in his late 60s, so I'm sure
I'm
kicking my
sorry.
ass is probably not as easy.
No, I'm sorry. If he felt the need to kick your ass, I'm pretty sure your dad could still do it.
Oh, I think he could
Like,
too.
Hands down.
My
not
dad,
even
the
think
military
twice
guy
about
and
that.
30 some year cop. Yeah, I'm sure he could kick my ass. All right, so that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for our topics for the evening. Yay. We've given out only 1 point for the drinking game to the newbie who's not even here anymore, so his point doesn't count.
It's alright. It's a Saturday night. It's an off show anyway.
It is. And we already went a hell of a lot longer than I thought we would.
E-Man Caves is saying, when on the road trip, the Hellseekers will they stop at the world's biggest ball of twine?
I would go to the House of Wigs, because it would be more fitting for his character. Like the Dome of Wigs they have in Tennessee.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was in The Simpsons, so that's just kind of what I'm going on.
Oh, okay.
When Bart and everybody else, illegally rented a car and went on a road trip, they went to see the Sphere of Wigs.
Oh yeah,
so
I remember.
So
that
for a
now.
guy who wants to
I
make a
remember
woman's
that now.
suit, that would actually be kind of fitting.
Yeah. I'm thinking Misty probably also would want to go to that thing, but for a different reason.
You know what?
Same.
If Leatherface actually got into twine and I don't know crocheting, maybe he wouldn't be so angry. But because it worked in Demolition Man.
It did.
Just
It
saying.
did. I don't know why. I got upset and I just felt the need to knit you this sweater. It's beautiful.
That's because we give everybody a hobby. Why can't you give me a hobby that doesn't suck? Because reasons. All right. Killer McCoy is not responding, so I'm going to assume he's probably not listening right now. So unfortunately, we are not going to have Killer McCoy here for our after hours segment for this evening. Do we even want to do after hours?
What after hours could we possibly do? This entire episode has been after hours.
Yeah, we've been kind of all over the place.
Interspersed with a little bit of horror here and there.
We have been kind of all over the place this evening.
Let's go to Reddit. Let's find random things on Reddit and read them.
Go.
Hold on.
After hours.
Yes, Internet, I'm aware that this is a bad idea, but you know what?
That should be what the pop-up really says. Warning, this is a bad idea. That's what it should say.
All right.
Calvin, come here.
Smash Ballot. My friend Spencer.
Come here, I want to put you on the air and make you famous. Come here, buddy.
Adberg is a truly adventurous hero.
Calvin, come here. Don't run away from Daddy.
Yada yada yada
Calvin.
yada.
Come here. I don't know why you're leaving your arm.
I don't know why. Usually I don't end up on Reddit's front page ever. Da 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 da. Yada 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 yada. Oh, I forgot about the blood moon lunar eclipse this morning, which we actually. Yeah. Obviously, it's nighttime now. If it was, you knew that too. I have a voicemail from you. It was from this afternoon, when you were ignoring me. So, bite me, you little. Creationism versus feminism. That's nothing interesting. Come on, give me something creepy. Yeah, I already told you.
I know, I was turning it off.
There's a voicemail asking you to get milk, which you failed at.
I didn't get your voicemail until just now. If you want me to go get milk after the show, I will go get milk after the show.
No, we're fine.
You're damn right we're fine.
All right.
You know, if there is a ghost, I really do wonder what they think about these shows. Oh, now you come back, you little shit. Come over here. Calvin.
Batman is getting creepy. Random creepy pictures. That won't go well for our podcast listeners.
Creepypasta is another good site if you
This
want
is
some
a
creepy
different.
things.
The number one thing right now. This is a different kind of creepy. But did anyone else notice how creepy John Travolta was at the Oscars tonight? Submitted 1 month ago. No, we didn't, because I didn't watch the Oscars because I was busy doing other things. Ooh, creepy Japanese urban legends. Let's go with that one. Oh, there's that mouth lady. I don't like that story. Let's see if we can find a different one. Oh, this is disturbing. All right. So, hitobashira, or human pillars in English. In ancient Japan, people believed that sealing a human being in the construction would make it stronger and stable. By sealing people in the pillars and walls, they make sacrifices to the gods, and if the gods are pleased, the construction lasts longer. Buildings with human pillars are told to be haunted by the ones sealed in the walls. Gee, I wonder why! Let's think about this for a minute. Where the hell did you go? Whatever. I'm running the show now. This is now the Baroness Hour. Hosted by me, the Baroness. What the hell is that? That is a floating, torso-less, blackened creature with a creepy face. Oh my. Teki 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 is the sound that this creature makes while moving with its elbow. Okay. She was once a nice lady who fell in the path, or jumped, there are different versions, in a subway station. She was cut in half by the train. That explains the lack of torso. She was cut in half by the train, but her anger and grudge was so intense that her torso is still looking for vengeance. Despite the lack of legs, she can move very fast, and if you are unlucky enough to get caught, she will cut you in half with a scythe that she produces. Where does she... If she's running around on her elbows, how is she carrying a scythe at the same time?
Magic. Maybe her toes are very flexible.
Oh, it's magic. You know. Cutting off all your big toes.
Sorry, the cat's getting a bigger cheer than you and I are.
Well, you know what? The internet loves kittens.
That is true.
I'm just saying.
Oh, he ain't a kitten anymore. We still call him a kitten, but he's definitely not a kitten.
Oh, this is awesome. Why do we not have this in the United States? Okay, so there's Akamanto, which means red cape or cloak. It's basically an evil spirit haunting the toilets. Kind of like how we had the ghost in the pisser one time.
That is true.
Except ours wasn't evil. It
That we
will
hope.
appear when you sit on the toilet and there is no paper. It asks, do you want the red paper or the blue paper? Or in some versions, red cape or blue cape. If you take the red paper, you will be cut into pieces. If you take the blue paper, you will be strangled. See, this is why in America we only have good old-fashioned white toilet paper.
Yes, because we don't want to get
trash.
strangled.
According to some other versions, if you choose the red paper, your skin will be ripped off, and if you choose the blue paper, all of your blood will be drained from your body. That's so pleasant.
So is that the encouragement not to wipe then?
No, it's the encouragement to double check and make sure you've got an extra roll of toilet paper under the sink.
I'd rather just not wipe at that point.
It doesn't matter. If you run out of toilet paper, that's when the creature appears. You're missing that. And it'll ask you what kind of toilet paper you want. And if you're smart, you're going to say, I'm sorry, but I'm American and I only use white toilet paper.
America, fuck yeah. Saving the world from wiping your ass, America.
And you know why?
Fuck yeah.
Because when you enter the white into the equation, it becomes red, white, and blue. Wow, I can actually feel Varyor getting a migraine as we go through this episode. This is amazing.
I think he'd be proud of us. Speaking of which, where the hell is he at? He's probably playing
Olive
games
keeps
right now.
asking me if I have honed my psychic powers yet. I think I'm starting to feel some ESP working here. This is amazing. That is creepy as shit. Okay, Tomino's Hell, and there's a really, really, really creepy picture that goes along with this too. I should probably just pop this up here. Let's do that. If I'm going to be given nightmares tonight, the rest of IRC should also be given nightmares tonight. There you go. E-Man Cave says, Neo, if you take the blue paper, you will wake up in your room tomorrow, and if you take the red paper, all shit will break loose. Nice. All right.
Lovely.
Tomino's Hell is a cursed poem that kills people who read it out loud. So our podcast listeners, I guess, are screwed. We'll have to write it out and show it to the camera.
E-Man Cave says, Neo, if you choose the blue paper...
I just fucking read that, really?
Did you?
Yes,
Oh,
I did.
sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
Wow.
What the hell are they doing? Oh, cat fight, get him! Come on, Calvin, don't
Calvin
take that.
was running backwards, which is pretty amazing.
Come on, Calvin. Don't stand there and take that shit. Get him. Ooh, look at them stare each other down. He smacked him in the ass. Bitch, get over here.
Shit, that's it. We need to get the GoPro cameras.
Yes. They're expensive, though.
I-
I've got
I-
them
I-
on my wish list.
I realize they're expensive, but at this point,
We have got to start getting these cat
Shit.
fights on. Are they hissing?
no, they're just looking at each other now. But no, I mean, we could just hook the GoPros up to the cats, and anytime we don't have a show going on, just constant stream of Calvin and Hobbes just bitch slapping the shit out of each other all day long.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. And you know what? We would probably be the most popular channel on Twitch. We need to make this a thing.
Cat fights.
Just saying.
And then we can add in like play-by-play commentary afterwards.
What was I saying?
Calvin is going off the ropes here. Oh, he nails him in the face with an elbow. Calvin goes for the next slice.
Tomatoes Hell is written by Yomata. I can't pronounce their last name, sorry. In a book called The Heart is Like a Rolling Stone. It was also included in Seizo Yasuo's 27th collection of poems in 1919. The poem is about a Tomino who dies and falls to hell. So if you come across that, don't read it out loud, apparently. Because, whoa, there's a cow head there now.
Ugh.
Reddit, what the hell? That is amazing! The cow has a cold. Ready, set, go!
Ew. It's nasty. Ew, it's all ew and it's nasty and moist.
We still have viewers at this point.
Yes, we do.
Why?
Although I don't know if they're actually watching.
You guys need to just
Hello, Isabella. Welcome.
save yourselves now. Save yourselves now.
We are now in After Hours, where anything goes.
Yeah, apparently cow snot's what's going right now. Cowhead is a scary story which can make you die from fright. Okay, so
Hey, I'm resurrected. It must be Easter. What?
wow.
And here comes the lightning bolt.
Wow. I'm gonna move to the other room now so that when you get smited, it doesn't get all over my clothes.
Yeah, God's gonna get me for that one.
Yeah, just saying.
I deserve it. I'll
Just
admit
saying.
it. I deserve it.
You know that line that you're asked not to cross. Well, that's way the hell back there.
I'm always
yeah.
crossing lines or peeing on them or
Interrupting
something
my
like that.
stories, Oh, that's a creepy doll too. All right. So here's your scary story, which can make you die from fright. So if you have heart conditions, if you
I forgot the Play-Doh movie. But anyway, go on.
we'll go into it in a minute. Well, I'm telling my cow story.
Tell your cow story.
For the third time,
Moo.
one day during a school trip that involved bus traveling, the teacher started to tell scary stories to entertain the students. This sounds familiar. When he started to tell a story called Cowhead, all the students started to scream and beg him to stop, but the teacher was in some sort of trance and he couldn't stop. When he recovered, the bus driver and the students had fainted and were foaming at the mouth. Some of them couldn't stop sweating and shivering and died a few days later. Have you ever had that happen on a bus trip, Baron? I mean,
Everything but the dying.
I know that you've been known to tell scary stories to your school children.
Oh my God, yes. All right, folks. If you ever want to know,
Oh my God, that is actually a man with a cow's head on him.
is it like half of a minotaur?
That's Now I feel myself headache. Anyway, continue.
All right. Anyway, if you ever want to go ahead and get the attention of a bunch of teenagers or little kids, tell fucking ghost stories. I mean, it is the best freaking thing in the world. I've been doing this after-school program for years now, where it's all sorts of things. But you do like psychoeducational groups. You do other groups just where to get to know kids. Sometimes do some sports and activities and fun stuff like that. But we would do these field trips every so often. And the field trips would usually be like an hour, 2 hours away to go to these different whatever it is that they plan on doing. So I started out doing riddle games with them, like murder mystery riddle games. And it spawned from there, and I would get probably half the bus that would play along with this. The other half would be like they kind of listen in, but they're they're trying to be cool in the back of the bus, so they don't want to like actively participate because that would kind of like ruin their image. So they'll kind of like whisper questions for other people to ask. And then it kind of morphed from there to doing ghost stories. And I'll sit down, and first off, I tell them like ghost stories of our ghost hunting adventures, and I told them about Orbfest 2014, and this year I told them about Orbfest 2015 that we have coming up in June that we're going to be broadcasting here live on Twitch, where we do a paranormal investigation, and it's amazing. I have never seen a group of like 13, 14, and 15-year-olds actually sit that silent for that long of a period of time that didn't involve something involving Twilight, because it's just telling them ghost stories. I mean, they eat this shit up. It's amazing. And then every week after that, they kept coming back every time I would come in to, because I'd only go a couple days a week, and they'd run this thing for 4 days a week, but I'd only be there for 2, and then somebody else come for the other 2. But every single day I would go there, there would be a group of them run up and saying, "Are you gonna do ghost stories today? Are you gonna do ghost stories today? What ghost story are you gonna tell today? Hey, how did this last story end?" I mean, they really eat this shit up. It's amazing. And the other adults that run this program keep coming up to me and they're like, "How do you get these kids to listen for so long? How do you get them to be so quiet and well behaved and paying attention?" Because these kids are kids that have all sorts of behavioral issues too. I mean, this is a program that's specially designed to help kids with behavioral problems. Again, that's what I do for my job. Ghost stories really work. And then when I told them what I was doing, at first I was really nervous to say, I'm telling them ghost stories and trying to give them nightmares. So they come back and the parents call you up and bitch about that weird creepy dude who keeps telling them ghost stories at all these meetings. Luckily that never happened, knock on wood. But and I would tell them, I'm just telling them ghost stories. Like, "Oh, what kind of ghost stories?" I'm like, in a book. I kind of pick them out and not telling them, Anyway.
I was expecting, like, you know, like a little wispy, like an orb or some shit. And no, this is pretty solid.
All right, anyway, like I was saying before I was interrupted by the freak out queen over
Creepy.
here. I'm not arguing the fact that
I'm
it's
sorry,
creepy.
I was just looking at something that was actually a lot worse.
I'm
than
just
that.
saying
They
you
were
the way
real
you jumped made me
pictures
pee a
of
little.
Jesus.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying, peed a little bit. It's a little wet now where I'm sitting. But anyway, let me go ahead and plug the other shows here on the Rivalcast Media Network. Again, you are watching The Ghost in the Podcast, a horror-themed show. We are just one of many shows that take place right here on this Twitch channel. We also have the Rivalcast, which is anything gaming related. We have Farfield, which is pretty much anything involving the land of Iowa. Actually, pretty much anything even beyond that. We also have Sheep Moon and WoW Uncensored, which will go ahead and handle all of your WoW needs, issues, wants, and need to knows about the World of Warcraft.
Including the WoW Podcast for Tournament of Epicness.
I was just getting to that, which is now in its final four, if I remember right. Which is now in the final four, where you can go ahead and vote for which of the final four shows, WoW-oriented shows, that you think is best. Head on over to rivalcastmedia.com. You'll find the link on the main page. Go ahead and click on it to go ahead and cast your vote. Baroness and I are also hosting OrbFest 2015, which is our live paranormal investigation that we are going to be broadcasting here on Twitch. If you want to join us, go to rivalcastmedia.com, and on the main page you will find a link that will go ahead and let you buy tickets to go ahead and join us for this event. It's going to be taking place at the Brinton Lodge in Pennsylvania. It'll be on June 25th of this year coming up, so just a couple months away. We've already sold, I think, close to half the tickets that we have available, so if you're going to get them now. They have to, what, is it the 18th?
Yeah,
when we're done?
They have to register by the 18th because I have to get our stuff in by then.
All right, you have to register by April 18th. That's when all the money is due. All the money that we raise for this thing is not going towards us or the network. It's going for the location to go ahead and rent the place out so we can go ahead and have the whole place to ourselves for this paranormal investigation. It's going to run all night long. Lodgings and other information you can also find online as well on the Rivalcast Media website. Just click on the link and we'll give you some tips of places you can go. Cost is $50 a person, and again, that goes towards the cost of just renting the facility out. We don't get a penny of it. Later, we will be doing a DVD release of the paranormal investigation as well as the live footage that people are going to be able to watch from Twitch while we go ahead and do this thing. And now, again, that'll be taking place June 25th.
All right.
And there's also RCM on tap.
All right, this is definitely an after hours sort of question.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so this Redditor writes, I'm a parent. I still have the bottle of vodka that caused my child to come into existence. I've been saving it for 16 years and am planning to reopen it on his 21st and do a shot with him. Is this cool or creepy as fuck?
Read it again.
This is a parent. Says they still have the bottle of vodka that caused my child to come into existence. He's been saving it for 16 years and is planning to reopen it on the child's 21st birthday and do a shot with him. Cool or creepy?
I would say creepy. Because if that's the reason why his kid was born, that's creepy. That's basically what he's saying. Son, you exist because of this bottle of booze. You owe your existence to booze. Let's go ahead and take a shot to celebrate.
I got your mom drunk, and then 9 months later, you came into the world.
Exactly. And if you think about it, I mean, what does that sentence imply? You know, vodka was the reason you exist. Well, obviously that tells you everything you know about that marriage, or lack thereof. For all we know, it could have been a one-night stand. I mean, granted, I'm glad the guy wants to be involved in his kid's life and everything, but no, I'd say creepy. What about you?
Well, I kind of came from similar circumstances, so it's just like,
You still have a say. Do you think it's creepy or not?
Well, I don't know. My parents finished the bottle, so that's what I was getting at. We went totally over your little rabbit
It
ears,
did.
but that's
Totally
okay.
did.
Let me see. Can someone over at I Draw That... Oh, so someone over at I Can Draw That was nice enough to draw the creepy dude from my girlfriend's nightmare. Okay.
Meanwhile, back on the farm.
Does anyone else find the Pledge of Allegiance to be kind of creepy? No.
No, not at all.
No.
America,
Wow.
fuck you.
You know it's bad when it's Saturday night we're trolling Reddit and coming up with nothing but fail. And we've got people who are actually watching us do this.
Well, it's about midnight, so I was going to call it pretty soon.
I'm kind of sad inside, actually.
Why? We're entertaining, damn it. We got ears on, damn it. We're entertaining, woman. You need to do your part. We are going ahead and making the world a better place. Actually, you have been doing your part, so I'll take that back. But we need to go ahead and keep entertaining, damn it.
I was gonna say, who do you think gave you your
We got
ears?
ears. We've been wearing chickens of the cooked and non-cooked variety. I even had a tiger hat on. You know how
Before
I
and
feel about
after.
tigers. We've had cats on the show.
Before and afters.
You are seeing, look, we are coordinating our outfit before and after, okay? So you know what? This goes in the podcast. This thing rules, pal. You'll be sad if you missed it.
You know what? This is the ghost of that.
Don't eat me. What?
This is what happens when Killer's not here to read us questions at the end of the show.
It's after hours. Anything goes.
What are they doing now? Who knows?
All right. Well, it is now close to midnight. It's like 2 minutes to, so we're going to go ahead and head out like a fetus and call it an evening. I want to thank everybody for going ahead and tuning in this evening and watching the show. For those that actually stuck around, hopefully we picked up some new followers. And again, we're wearing chicken hats because we're awesome. Don't forget to check out all the other wonderful shows here on the network. Do not forget, Ghost in the Podcast will not be airing tomorrow in our usual time slot because it is Easter Sunday. But next week we will pick up right where we left off, Sunday 5 p.m., which is our normal, airtime. We'll also be doing Bear and Bust this Thursday. We'll be finishing off Ghostbusters, followed by, I haven't really decided what game we're going to follow that by because I believe we're at the tail end of Ghostbusters. Don't forget to check out this show and older episodes. If you like what you saw, definitely hit the follow button. Follow us so that way you go ahead and be updated by all the next latest and greatest episodes that we're going to be airing. We're also now putting shows up on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher.com. And please do not forget, go to podcast.com. Only takes a few minutes. Enter in your email. Go ahead and give us a vote so that way we get recognized, get a little bit of love, and we can go ahead and get the show out there to more and more people.
Ridiculous. Seriously, Reddit, if you say right in there that the backstory is attached and then you don't attach the backstory, how the hell am I supposed to read it to the internet? Really?
I
mean,
don't know.
The pictures, really, really freaking creepy, but not gonna do much for our podcast listeners. Not.
Sadly not. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you very much. We'll see you all next week. And remember, if anybody asks you if you're a god, say yes. I love my hat.
You do realize that you cut yourself off again, right?
No, I didn't hit it till after I finished.
Okay, but
my
as
thing.
soon as you do, it cuts the Twitch
Yeah.
stream. There's a 15-second delay.
Yeah.
So it cuts off your last 15 seconds. You have to say yes, wait 15 seconds, then hit the stop.
Oh well.
That's what we keep trying to tell you week after week.
Most people aren't even watching until the end anyway. You can see the numbers. Most of them are only watching half hour to an hour.
No.
And we're doing 2.5 hour long shows. Hell, the people that were even in chat weren't even watching the show. God, that is a creepy ass baby.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Holy maneuver. The next one is really, really